All right, we're talking about Superman today, and we're also going to be talking about Captain America 4. Well, 2 Captain Americas and Avengers Doomsday. And of course, we can not end the show today without talking about Kraven the Hunter. It's coming our way in, well, a couple of days' time. If you're watching us live, then yeah. Well, that's all on the show today. And to do that and so much more, we're going to hit that intro, shall we? All right, welcome on in to an episode of Oh So Curious Times DCU Daily. I don't know why I did that piece of Victory Day, whatever. My name is Daniel. Of course, if you guys are new, then there you go. That's my name. And to Ron in the chat, hello. You're one of the early ones in there. If you're not watching us live, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But, you know, we can pull up the chat replay if you want. But, yeah, it's going to be a big show. As you saw just earlier, we're talking Captain America. Not just one, but 2 Captain Americas. Maybe that's why I did that. Joining it with the Avengers cast, Avengers Doomsday, alongside the Fantastic Four. So 2 Captain Americas, 4 Fantastic Fours. Never mind, 4 Fantastics. That doesn't really work. And then 1 Robert Downey Jr. That's according, and then 1 Robert Downey Jr. aka Tom Holland. So that's so far the rumored cast or somewhat confirmed cast of the new Avengers Doomsday movie. So we're gonna talk about that in MCU Weekly. Of course, if you're a fan of DC, we've got your main man doing more things and ratioing fans in the chat on Twitter, on X, on Threads. I think it's Threads. Then you get to hear about it on X as well, where he's basically telling people like, you're still waiting for the Superman trailer? What Superman trailer? Is there a Superman trailer coming out? Nobody knows. Apparently James Gunn says, or at least he implies, that we're not going to get one. So we're going to talk about that. Aaron Pierre was talking about the Lanterns on one of the interviews that he did for Mufasa, the Lion King, which is set to come out soon. So we'll get into that as well. And of course, as always, we have to look ahead to the movie of the week for the following week, which this week happens to be Kraven the Hunter, or more like Craving the Hunter, depending on, who you are and where you land on the target demographic for the movie. Speaking of target demographic for the movie, I've got Liz and John with me today. I'll start with you, Liz. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm very well, thank you. Dan, I think you need to sit on your hands for the rest of the show, however, but I'm doing very well.
What's wrong with my hands? What did I like?
I think you're a little spastic today. They're a little Let's just simmer down.
It's just numbers. It's just numbers. I'm just counting. It's that's all it is.
Like
I'm not doing like gang
stuff. When the shoes come off, then we're gonna have problems. When he starts taking his shoes off, gang.
Shoes off. Who says I have shoes on? Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, please, God, don't get Quentin Tarantino in here, like, with talking about feet and no shoes.
It's enough
like,
already.
Please, God.
Fair enough already.
Speaking of feet and shoes, John, how are you doing today?
Doing stuff. Doing stuff. I'm doing okay. I wish I'm procrastinating is what I'm doing. I should be better at time management, but I'm not. So here we are.
Yeah, that seems. I mean, that's how it goes with everybody. We got Derpy in the chat. I'm gonna say hello to Derpy, even though I just said it out loud. But in the chat, we gotta address the fans. Ron was already like Snyderverse cultists are going to declare World War III when Superman releases. Well,
I don't understand these people. What?
They're a vocal minority. It's like
I don't see Ron. Where did he go?
Ron's at the very top. Ron's out the very top.
I don't know, Ron. Maybe he hopped in and out. Maybe he'll be back. But yeah, you know what we usually do with the show to start? We talk about the news. So as always, let's talk about the news. It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always number 2.
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
You're
kidding. I can't open the envelope without this.
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. And you're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What?
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right. Well, today in the world of Hollywood news, Morbius kills God. No, that's not actually what happened. But maybe it will happen if we do get the Morbius cinematic universe, which we will talk about. Well, not exactly that, but the Sony Spider-Man universe. That's going to be later in the show. But to start off the news segment, I'm going to ask you guys about Mufasa the Lion King, which the first reactions are out. And according to those first reactions, the movie is being praised as the perfect prequel. It's astounding visuals, and it's a story that deserves to be told. I'm going to briefly go through a couple of these before we get into the conversation. But like, for example, Film Independent the writer Dana, she was like saying a story that deserves to be told that makes you question what is destiny, expertly written and crafted. It adds to the Lion King franchise by adding more dimensions to the characters we love and thought we knew. The visual effects are astounding. I mean, I'm sure the animals look real. That's probably what that means. Then, of course, you look at Cinefied film critic Dempsey. He wrote, "Pleased to say Mufasa the Lion King is really good, but what else would you expect from Barry Jenkins? Barry Jenkins is a good director. A biblical exploration, wow, that's a word, of destiny brilliantly disguised as an origin story for Mufasa and Scar. Entertaining, visually stunning, and Lin-Manuel Miranda's music did not disappoint." We will talk about that too. Speaking of which, I do want to ask y'all, what are your thoughts on these initial reactions? And we will get into the Lin-Manuel Miranda part of the story as well. But so far, you can see these reactions are glowing. I mean, did you expect any less, Liz, or does it surprise you that people are loving it so much?
Yeah, actually. I mean, if you look at the trailer, it doesn't offer you a whole lot. To me, I was like, this is going to be a snooze fest, but that's really nice to know. Because I do intend to see it regardless of how I personally feel watching the trailer. So hearing all of these positive reviews is really nice. The fact that the story has something there, that it's, this wasn't just some kind of cash grab, which is what I kept calling it in the beginning. So that's really cool. I'm hoping to be as pleasantly surprised as all of these folks are. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I'm a little surprised because, like you said, like I wasn't expecting it to be like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Because, like, where do you go with it? Like, The Lion King is The Lion King. Like, and I know we have gone before, like The Lion King 2 and The Lion King 2.5 or whatever. So we in animation, there's a precedence for sequels, but as far as prequels go, I was like, it's kind of like Transformers 1, and Transformers 1 was a good movie, but it sort of fell flat on its face in the box office because almost nobody went to see it. And the trailers for that weren't that impressive either. But I mean, hey, the movie hasn't come out yet, but it's a Disney movie, and the live action Lion King, or the CGI animated live action Lion King, was the highest grossing movie of it, like any animated movie of all time. If you consider it an animated movie, it made like $1.5+ billion. So there is an audience for it, and as we know, even if the sequel is not as good, if it's a Disney film and you got all those Disney fans, much like Moana 2, this one will probably still make a lot of money. But John, yeah.
Well, and again, they really didn't advertise it worth a damn either. So, like I said, I wasn't holding out hope for a whole lot. This, to me, just like Moana 2, seemed like a cash grab. But if everybody's saying that the story is pretty incredible, it is. But the fact that everybody's saying the story, there is actually a story there, whereas Moana 2, I still feel is very mediocre for what we were given. So I'm pleasantly surprised, and hopefully I'll enjoy it as much as they did. Like I said.
Yeah. I mean, John, do you have anything to add to that?
I mean, the trailers look like dog shit. The CGI looks like dog shit. The story looks like dog shit. And they completely and utterly fuck with Mufasa's past for no fucking reason. So I'm not going to be watching this trash. I don't care how much it gets praised. It looks, no, sorry, not dog shit. It looks like lion shit. That's what it looks like. And I don't give a fuck about Lin-Manuel Miranda. I don't care what Angelina says, saying he's the next fucking Mozart. I don't give a fuck. It looks like shit. I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing Sonic instead. So this can fuck off.
Fair enough. You know what? Fair enough. But it is probably going to be the biggest movie of the holiday season, quite frankly.
Unfortunately. Never bet against Disney.
I personally think the live action Lion King just couldn't capture the magic of the original, like, because it just works better in animation. It's so much more expressive.
Yeah,
but you know
no
what?
shit.
Like it made so much money, so a lot of people did love it. The critics liked it. And for what it works, but to me it just doesn't compare to the original. Now, speaking of Moana 2, there is a little sidebar here because Lin-Manuel Miranda, of course, now infamously, the music in Moana 2 is not anything that he wrote. And we talked about it before that the Moana 2 was supposed to be like a limited series on Disney Plus. So Lin-Manuel Miranda committed to working on other projects. Now, one of the other projects he's been working on in the time that Moana 2 was being turned from a limited series to a feature movie that, you know, landed in movie theaters. He's been working on Mufasa 2. Or not Mufasa 2, on Lion King, Mufasa the Lion King. I'm already messing up the title. But, you know, you get it, Mufasa. He's been working on the music for Mufasa. So that seems to be the reason why. He said that it didn't line up that way, actually. I got the script from Mufasa when I had just finished Encanto. And so I started working on that at the top of 2022. So Moana 2 was already in process as a TV series with Emily and Abigail, the two showrunners. So then when that decision got made to turn that into a movie, they were already cooking. So, or I think those are the two people that were working on the music for that movie. So what are your thoughts on this, Liz? Does this, I mean, it does explain why, you know, Miranda was not involved with Moana 2 at all.
I mean, they ripped him off regardless. It does. Yeah. There's definitely one song in the soundtrack that absolutely sounds like it was written by him because it does that rap speaking that he does.
They tried to get the cadence and everything.
Yeah, they absolutely ripped him off. But again, it was still completely mediocre. I didn't care for any of the songs. There was nothing that really hit. I guess The Rock talked about how Chihu, which is apparently a well-known saying in Samoan culture, was like the biggest thing for him to come out of it, to be able to share that with the world and get other people saying it. So in that regard, that's really cool. But again, the movie was a cash grab. I'm not surprised he didn't attach himself to it, especially considering it was supposed to be a TV show originally, and then they pivoted and he was like, okay, can't help you. So, you know, it's nice that he gave them their flowers, but at the end of the day, they were just ripping him off and didn't do so very well. So, whatever.
I mean, there were still a couple of songs that people seemed to love from the movie, but again, nothing quite on the level of the first Moana, which even to this day,
they'll probably have him back for Moana 3 because we know we're getting a Moana 3 and now he's going to get a girlfriend. So whoop-de-doo. It's, whatever. I'm over it.
Yeah. And then we're going to get the remake and it's just like,
Yeah.
So speaking of which, John, what are your thoughts on this? Because I did want to get your opinion on, again, the idea that they were going to make this as a TV series, that turned it into a movie. People, even the ones who liked Moana, to consider it inferior to the original.
Right.
And of course, we know that now is the reason why, because he had already committed to Mufasa. So do you think that, again, it did suffer because he's not involved? And do you think he's going to come back for the third one? Because based on how well the second one's doing, I'm thinking they're gonna do.
He would be an idiot not to. Like, that's he's definitely coming back, and it makes sense why because it's like, oh, it's a fucking mini series. Fuck that shit. I'm gonna do a big budget Mufasa sequel instead. Prequel, sorry. Prequel / sequel. They're doing they're like comparing it to like fucking Godfather Part 2, and it's just like, shut up, please. Yeah. But yeah, no, it makes sense, and I could definitely see him doing Moana 3. He's like, I want a cut of those. He saw the opening weekend for Moana 2. He's like, I want those goddamn profits. Give me some of that, please. So yeah, he would be an idiot not to. So he's definitely going to be coming back, and to just ride that money train, my guy. Just do what you need to do. Who cares about art anymore, right? When it's Hollywood, art is out the window.
All about a cash grab, babe. Cash grab. And merch.
If I had cash on me, I would be making it rain, but I haven't.
Well, we're not Disney,
I'm broke.
So we never will.
I'm broke, so I could like
merch.
Well, we've got Tony in the chat. We've got Caleb. We've got Caleb Richardson. Tony Stank in the chat. Sorry, it's Tony Reyes, but I don't know where Tony Stank we will get to later.
Both Caleb's what?
We got both Caleb's. We have Tony. We have, of course, Liz. You're in the chat, hanging out with the crew. Fiona just joined in. Antonio is here. We got Club Soda.
Get my nails done tomorrow, Fiona.
Club Soda is in the chat. I don't know if I've seen you before. I'm seeing both Mufasa and Sonic Club. We're gonna do the double as well. It's gonna be, what are we calling that now? Is that gonna be Sofasa or is it Mufonic. Like I don't know what we're gonna call that
both.
double.
Mufonic sounds like an electronic group, and Sofasa sounds like a beverage. Sounds like a soft drink, or some pharmaceutical.
Wait, hold on. I'm
Sofasa.
curious. Liz, I'm curious. Who's getting Manny Petty when? Like, what is going on here? Are you?
All right, all right. Good.
No, I'm getting a manicure tomorrow. I was just saying to Fiona, I'm getting a manicure.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
nails. Hashtag nails for Pedro. Hashtag nails for Pedro.
Again with the fingers. Anyway. Well, John,
right,
you can
done?
call out there.
You done?
Yes, we're done. We're done. Yeah. Well, let's keep the ball rolling because we have a lot of news to get into today. There is a big franchise in the world of television that is about to wrap up its flagship show, Yellowstone. And Taylor Sheridan, the cowboy that lives and breathes the life of a cowboy in real life, in every which way imaginable. The man owns a bunch of ranches. He's got Paramount by the balls. And finally, Yellowstone, the flagship show, the Dutton drama, as they call it, is coming to a close. And he is stepping in to direct what is a supersized, basically it's longer than the usual size episode, so it's gonna go on for like an hour and a half, more than an hour basically. Final episode, the finale of the show of, I don't know, like the season 5, is it that's lasted like 5 years because they had a 3-year gap in the middle. But Taylor Sheridan's directing the finale, and it's set to wrap up the main story. However, it's also going to spin things off into other programs because, of course, we've gotten prequels, and we know now that there's going to be other sequels. Before we get to the sequel, like a spin-off news, I wanted to ask you guys, have you been watching or following along with the latest season of Yellowstone? Liz, are you excited for the final episode? The supersized final episode?
I've not watched a single episode. Again, I'm one of those people that I prefer to wait until it's all out, so I can binge it all in one shot. And then they also had that really snarky deal with Paramount, so like you couldn't stream it anywhere else for a little while. So no, I did not. I want to see it. All the clips of it that I have seen definitely tell me that I will enjoy the show. So I'll be watching once it all wraps completely. But yeah, they lost a lot of people when they had that huge gap in right in the middle of season 5. So it'll be interesting to see how many people actually tune into the finale. But yeah, and it makes sense that he's got this spin-off show going. Those are the two most favorite characters of the show. They're the ones that get the most attention. They're the ones that they're the most clips of on socials. So I get it. And again, good for them. Make that money. Hopefully it's better than the prequels. That's all.
Yeah. And to Manolo in the chat, it's not actually the season finale, it is the series finale. Like Yellowstone, the main show is done after this. And Club Soda, yeah, of course, you lurk usually, but you're in the comment section today. Thank you for stopping by.
Club Soda right now.
Club Soda, man. I've just got regular old Pepsi in here with me, so not sponsored. Sponsor us, you sons of bitches. But anyway, let's get on with the show.
Sponsor us.
That too. I wouldn't mind. I think that would be a good sponsorship deal.
GQ, you can sponsor us too. Dairy Queen, be great.
Yeah, man. I would love to.
Trader Joe's, if you want to sponsor us,
Okay. Blender bottle, if you would please.
Yes, all those pitches as if
Hershey's, if you want to sponsor. By the way, guys, like if you haven't eaten the marshmallow kisses, these are like I can eat like 2 bags of these in a day, no problem, because they are so fucking good.
I hate kisses, but I'm gonna have to give those a shot.
They are so good. They will make you love kisses.
Okay.
And I'm definitely gonna be making the hot cocoa blossoms later on.
Oh damn! All right.
So I ate the whole bag. I think I ate it today and yesterday.
I ate the whole bag.
It's like those Hershey Kisses flavors. They're like amazing spin-offs of the original, like the chocolate,
like Oreo
chocolate
flavors.
Hershey's.
Well, most.
Yeah, I do. Like, sometimes sometimes their spin-off flavors are better than even the original, and that's the question that everybody's going to be asking when this Yellowstone spin-off kicks
Brilliant
off.
segue.
I was so setting that up.
Nailed it, Dan. That's the one, buddy. That's the one.
That's gonna be a thing now. But yes, Yellowstone. So now that the main show is wrapping up on Paramount Network, they're of course Taylor Sheridan, cowboy extraordinaire. He's got to continue the franchise, and the two most popular characters who haven't fallen out with him yet are played by Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser. And the two of them, the couple in the show, it looks like they're going to be getting their own show. And no, they're not going to go into the 1880s or the 1920s. This is just going to continue on where this current show leaves off. And I believe this is meant to be separate from the one that Matthew McConaughey is going to join into. So it's just, again, Taylor Sheridan got Paramount by the balls, no pun intended, literally.
He's like Paramount's Shonda Rhimes, honestly.
Pretty much, except, even ABC, even Disney let go of Shonda Rhimes because they were like, it ain't, Netflix just threw way too much money at her. But you're not wrong, Liz. What do you think about again, another spin-off for the Yellowstone franchise? Would you watch this? Yeah.
No, again, I'm fine with it because I know these are the favorite characters of the entire series, of all the stories. So I think hopefully they stay true to the characters and they continue to build on their stories. Again, I've not watched a single episode. It is on my list. It looks good to me. So from what I understand, the people that do watch it absolutely love it. So hopefully they get some more quality content. That's all.
Yeah. And by the way, Antonio, you have a good point. And so this is something I wanted to point out because if you notice, pretty much every Yellowstone show, minus the OG Yellowstone itself, lives on Paramount Plus. So if you're streaming the show, all the other shows are streaming on Paramount Plus. The original Yellowstone show, though, came out before Paramount Plus existed, so NBC licensed it for streaming. So basically, you have to watch it on Peacock. I don't know, however, if those set of rights will expire eventually, and then the show will just land on Paramount Plus, where all the other shows from the franchise live. But certainly, as far as the spin-off, the Kelly Riley Cole Hauser spin-off goes, that alongside, of course, 1883, 1923, or whatever, all those other ones, they will all be on Paramount Plus. So I'm sure you can go check it out there. I mean, they might even put it on the Paramount Network if you're watching it on linear television. We don't know yet where the other Yellowstone sequel show is going to go, the Matthew McConaughey one. But this is big news. If you're a fan of this franchise, I mean, there's millions of people out there who watch it every week. You're going to get to watch the finale of the show, and now you know where some of those characters are going to go next. Who knows? Maybe Kevin Costner will eventually make a return.
He's still crying and begging to make his fucking American saga thing try to happen.
Horizon.
That shit ain't happening.
Mean, dude, that I'll give him props where they're due, because the man put up a lot of his own money and he took a risk on himself and it didn't pay off.
It failed because it sucked.
Dude,
what I heard.
Those Horizon movies were some of the highest streamed movies on Max. It was like
Do you know what? I saw the first one in theaters and it was good. The pacing was a little rough because it's literally 4 different storylines that have yet to merge into one. But at the end of that film, they give you a montage showing you what's to come in the second and possibly third films. And then you see where the storylines start to merge and connect and go from there. So I sat there for 3.5 hours, watched the film, and I was looking forward to the second one that I never got. So I don't know that I'm going to waste the time at home because I got other things going on. I don't know that I can dedicate 4 hours to watching the next episode. It's very disappointing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but the original show is pretty good, but the spin-offs, your mileage may vary. So
I know my parents couldn't get into the original show, but I think they like 1923 is the one with Harrison Ford, right?
I think so. Is that one also had
Helen Mirren in it?
Yeah, they like that one. They said it was really good. I think they're still watching it, but yeah, they couldn't get into the main show. I don't know about if they ever tried any of the other 10 million fucking other spin-offs, but but I know they like the 1923. I never gave them a watch. It never seemed to. I mean, I like Taylor Sheridan as a director. I like Hell or High Water and stuff like that, but I just never really cared about Yellowstone. Sorry.
Yeah, like I said, it's on my list, but I don't know when I'll be getting to it anytime soon. But I'm glad all the other fans seem to really respond to it, and everybody else is digging it. So there you go. And even in the chat, we got a bunch of guys saying that they like the show. So, and some of the spinoffs. So yeah. Hooray.
I mean, look, Taylor Sheridan, like I said, he's got Paramount, but I'm saying that for the 50,000th time. Sorry, Paramount. I don't mean to offend, but what's true is true. So it looks like the Yellowstone franchise will continue for a long time to come. Now we do have to get into the Warhammer conversation for a little bit here, John. So I wanted to just kind of lay it out first, and then you guys can kind of like talk through it a little bit in more detail. But recently, Henry, Cavill shared on his Instagram specifically, and then of course we've got the deadline news here. But let me kind of skip to his post because this is where the news comes from. He went to a shop nearby on his home island of Jersey, and he was talking about his passion for the Warhammer franchise, where he's been working with Games Workshop, basically the owners of the franchise, and Amazon MGM Studios, who bought the rights to the franchise. I believe it was a year or two ago, almost to the day when Henry Cavill posted this. And it was the idea that they were going to start developing something, maybe a TV series, maybe a movie, maybe a whole franchise built around the Warhammer the 40,000 or 40K. Well, I don't know how you pronounce
Everyone's dad, Henry Cavill, according to Caleb.
But now it looks like something is actually officially in development, because up until now they were just exploring options and like how we're gonna tackle this, because the universe of Warhammer is huge. It's insane how much stuff there is to explore in that world. And so Henry Cavill being attached obviously gives it the star power needed to get somebody like Amazon MGM to be like, okay, we're gonna put our money behind this thing. But now they've been working on it for well over a year, and here we are. It looks like a TV series. It looks like, I mean, I think it's Henry Cavill is pretty vague about it, but there was an announcement from Games Workshop, and then they even went into their own Warhammer community blog and kind of laid out that, hey, look, it's not going to be here tomorrow, but we are working on it. So there's a TV series coming. It's official. It's not going to be in develop. It's not going to go into production anytime soon, because Henry Cavill is doing like a million other things with Amazon. He's got the Highlander reboot coming up, which is delayed because he's currently shooting Voltron, also for Amazon MGM. So Amazon MGM got into the business of Henry Cavill right as Warner Brothers was getting out of it. But with that said, I wanted to start with you, John, and just kind of give us your thoughts on where you see this Warhammer 40,000 TV series going. Are you excited for it now that we know it's officially in development? Because it looks like up until now it was like speculation.
I thought it was like canceled. That's what it seemed like. It was like going to get canceled because there was like a whole thing with the, controversy that Games Workshop fucked with the the continuity and all that. I know that there was that. I think I heard rumors that Henry Cavill was going to back out or something like that. But I think I think I mean, I don't know a ton about Warhammer. I know a couple friends of mine, they love Warhammer. They absolutely adore Warhammer. They're reasonably excited for this. I know like the tiniest bit, like I know like the Emperor and like the Custodians and all that. But I know very, very little about it. But and it's like an extremely complex, a lot of moving parts universe. So I'm curious how they're going to make that work, because they have like the actual tabletop game. They have, books. I think they have like a couple video games here and there. I think they have a couple like short films and all that. It's an expansive fucking universe. It's huge. I'm just curious how the controversy is going to play into it and all that, and the new continuity. So, I'm curious about it. I'll probably give it a watch. But it's not like one of those things where it's like, oh, it has Henry Cavill, I'm definitely going to watch the entire thing. I'm just going to be like, okay, if I can get into it, I'll get into it. If I can't, I can't. So, that's essentially it.
I think this is horrible. And let me tell you why. Henry Cavill has dedicated his life to Warhammer. So if the studio doesn't let him do what he wants to do, because I'm sure he wants to keep it true to the story. I'm sure he wants to keep it true to the fan base. If the studio doesn't let him do what he wants, it's going to be a disappointment. Also, if he does get to do what he wants and he does stay true to the story, people like me who know nothing about the story are going to go watch it, and they're going to tear it to shreds because they don't understand everything that's going on, and they don't understand the characters. They don't understand backstories. They're going to rip it to shreds. Even if he does get to do what he wants, the diehard Warhammer fans are still going to have something to say about it, because they all bring their own opinions, and they all bring their own life stories with it and their own passion about it over the years. And if they don't let Henry do what he wants, the fans, the diehard fans again, are going to come at him and say, what the hell is this? This is bullshit. But they're going to find every plot hole. They're going to find every piece of criticism they can get. They're going to tear this thing apart. So no matter what, Henry being a part of this passion project that means so much to him is only going to be bad news. And it sucks. I mean, look at all the shit that James is getting, and James has been trying to stay true to his characters in the DCU and do right by fans. No matter what happens, people are going to have negative, crappy, shitty opinions. They're going to hate watch for it. They're going to find some reason to tear it down and give Henry shit for dedicating his life to this game that means so much to him. So I'm happy that he's happy. I'm happy that he's excited and he's pumped about it. I hope the studio lets him do what he wants, but I can only see doom and gloom on the horizon right now. And I'm very sad for him. Because it is something that he cares so much about. So even if he gets his way, and if he is true to the story, people are going to troll him, and it's just not fair.
Because I mean, look at the stuff with Rings of Power. They pretty much
right.
They don't have any rights to anything except for the original Lord of the Rings, and like they don't have anything to like Adventures of Tom Bombadil or anything or Silmarillion or anything like that. So they're essentially making up shit that has no connection to Tolkien, and people hate it.
It even happened with it even happened with the Dune films. Like, people left the theater and they were like, what the hell, not understanding that there's like 50 books. So they had to tell as much of the story as they could without telling the whole story in one shot. So it's like, if you don't have an understanding of a project, it's either not going to connect with you at all, or you're going to tear it to shreds because you don't understand what the hell you just watched. So it's a tricky thing to do, and it's a fine line, especially when it's a passion project like it is for Henry. So I just feel bad for the man, because he's going to get shit on, and it's not fair, and it's a shame. I mean, I'm still going to watch it, not knowing a thing about it. Hopefully I like it. Hopefully there are some other people in the chat that can educate me, just like you guys have been with the DC universe. But I read this article and I was like, oh no, their poor Henry. That's all I can think. That's all I can think.
I mean, Watcher is saying Warhammer, as well as I was saying, and he's essentially agreeing with me. The Warhammer lore, I know it's so vast. I remember a buddy might try to be like, okay, this is like kind of explains a little bit. It was like a 30-minute video. By like the 15-minute point, I was like, I have no fucking clue what's going on. And he's like, all right. And he was like trying to be nice about it. He was like trying to, he's like, yeah, it's so vast. There's so many moving parts. It's one of those things where it's like kind of like, I mean, well, not kind of like in terms of like, it's like the best comparison is like wrestling, where you can't like, you have to like, it's like a soap opera where you can't just like start like now or start from like, there's no real entry point. So it's like, it's just kind of awkward to talk about. So, all your points make a lot of sense, and I wish the best for him. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it. I mean, I like Dune Part 2 after not liking the first one, if we're going back to the Dune comparison. So there is that. But I hope that I like it.
I just keep playing Dungeons and Dragons film in my head. You know what I mean? Like, fans were so excited that we were getting a Dungeons and Dragons film, and then they were all kind of like, that's what you fucking gave us, So
and it could have been worse. Could have been the Jeremy Irons one.
That's fair, but my point is, I can see this going the same way. Right. And again, this is his passion project. Meanwhile, he's doing other things still. So like, just like we saw with freaking Justice League and Mission Impossible, that whole mustache gate situation. Now the man has started Highlander, but now Voltron's like, wait a minute, we need you over here. So he's fucking up Highlander's production while he's working on Voltron. We still don't even know anything about Voltron other than the actors that are a part of the project. We don't know who any of them are playing. We don't know the storyline. So it's kind of annoying to me right now because I'm really looking forward to Highlander, and to hear that their production is on hold for this bullshit, even though I'm going to see Voltron as well. I'm a fan of Voltron also. It's just like, y'all are doing too much, man. Like, and I feel that this is going to be a problem with his Warhammer project as well, because he keeps agreeing to things because he's a fan, and that's great that you're a fan. But baby, you got to do one at a time. You can't do 6 things at once. It's only going to end in disaster if he keeps going this way. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
I understand you want to say yes to everything. I want to say yes to everything. I wish I could watch every fucking movie that's out there, but I have a life and I have responsibilities and I have bills to pay. Like, babe, you're fucking up everybody else's situation when you keep doing things like this.
Yeah, and it was the same because I was more excited for Highlander because I'm actually more aware of Highlander than Voltron. I know nothing. The most I know about Voltron, I'm like, isn't that like discount Transformers essentially? Like, isn't that what it is? It's got like big robots and shit. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it came out in I want to say late 70s. It was out in the 80s. But they're not giving us anything. That's the thing. Like, I can't get excited about a project based on just the actors that are a part of it. So I don't know.
Because Highlander is one of those movies where I watched the original movie and it's terrible. It's pretty. The TV show was awesome. It's really dated. It's really cheesy. So I feel like the Highlander reboot could like offer something really interesting and like give us something that like could keep the roots but like make it like a lot better. So that's why I'm excited for this, especially with Chad Stahelski helming it. So I want to like it, and I want to be excited for that, but it's just like it's a shame that Voltron had to swoop in and like take Henry Cavill away from a Highlander. But I mean, maybe I'll watch Voltron, probably not. I have no real interest in it. Like,
well, again, we don't know anything about it. Maybe when the trailer comes out and if the trailer's awesome as shit, then you'll go see it. But as of right now, I can't get pumped for something I know I have absolutely no information about. And Lex in the chat told us that Voltron came out in 1984. So so it's 40 years old, just like me. Great year. A lot of awesome things happened that year. So wonderful. But again, the fact that it's holding up production on Highlander, which is something that I've been highly anticipating, is kind of pissing me off. And now he's all hands on deck with this Warhammer thing. It's like, babe, you got to take a break. You can't be doing this.
Yeah, I will just say, like, I think as far as the delay goes on the Highlander movie, it has more to do with the fact that Chad Stahelski, the director, went to to do some shooting, like extra, additional action sequences for the ballerina movie, which I know you guys talked about. But I'm like, if you don't get a director, it doesn't matter if Henry Cavill is available or not, right? Like, if Chad Stahelski's working on the other franchise, it's one of those things where I guess like they both have other things that seem to be slightly more important. So, I personally, I'm looking forward to like whatever happens with this Warhammer project. Like, when it does come out, it has the potential to potentially, I just said potential and potentially twice, whatever, to be the biggest thing Henry Cavill ever does. So, and you know what? Good for him. The man has got a lot of good stuff lined up. So why not? Like, why not?
Well, again, that's great, but everybody knows that when you're multitasking, you're really not putting your all into each individual project.
Don't half-ass 2 things, whole-ass 1 thing.
I'm saying.
It's a fair point. And in the chat, we got the Watcher joining us now. We got Lex in there. Hello to Lex. Hello to the Watcher. We also, of course, still got all the Calebs. We got all the Calebs, guys. All the Calebs. By the way, if you are watching, then hit that like button, guys. Let us know what you think about the show and drop it down into the comments section. We'd love to hear from you. Let's continue on with the news. So there is the news, of course, coming out of Saudi Arabia, where essentially they have a lot of money to throw around, right? They're building the whole NEOM.
That is an understatement.
The line. So essentially, they're also trying to diversify in the entertainment sector. So they just made like a 9-picture deal with Hakawati Entertainment, and not only that, but they also have these new like this whole studio like backlot built out in Al Ula. Al Ula Studios is essentially in a part of the country where it's fairly barren, but like it's got some lush landscapes, the kind of stuff that I think there was a recent Bollywood movie called Donkeys with Shah Rukh Khan in it that had shot in that part of the Saudi Arabia, and now Emma Roberts' thriller Fourth Wall is set to shoot there as well. And of course, it looks like not only are they investing in the world of Hollywood, but today we got the announcement that FIFA has basically awarded the 2034 World Cup to Saudi Arabia, which they're gonna have to play in the wintertime, much like Qatar, because much like the Qatar World Cup, it's really hot in Saudi Arabia in the summer months. So they got to play in the winter. Now, I just wanted to get your opinions on this real quickly. Do you think that all these investments of Saudi Arabia are going to result in like quality content, or is this just? I mean, is this going to be another like failing effort where they're throwing money at things but it doesn't necessarily result in anything good coming out of it?
They have a lot of money. It's very well known that in every major soccer league and championship, there's a shit ton of corruption. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of that going on. Also, Emma Roberts is shooting a movie in Saudi Arabia at the same time. I don't know how one affects the other or why one would give a shit about the other, unless maybe shooting production is held up by World Cup traffic or what have you. But a World Cup is a World Cup is a World Cup, so I'll watch, and I could give a fuck who the host country is, to be perfectly frank.
I agree. I couldn't really care. I don't give a fuck.
We're not going to get any vuvuzelas, which is disappointing. I'm looking forward to whatever artist will record the theme for this year's. I still think Waka Waka is the best, Shakira girl. But I'll watch it. They could play in my backyard. I don't give a shit. I'll watch it. Doesn't who cares? It's the World Cup. I'm like, yeah, sweet. That's all I got. And Emma Roberts, sorry, I don't. Am I going to see your movie? Maybe. The concept sounds interesting. So if anybody's read the article, the concept of the Fourth Wall thriller is that Emma was a former sitcom star, child star, and she and all of her former castmates from that TV show were abducted and placed on a reproduction of their TV show set, and I guess expected to perform the show for whatever superfan abducted them. That, I guess, is the premise. So, I don't know. It makes me think of Get Out. Not Get Out. What's the freaking movie? What's the movie I'm thinking of? Not Us, not Get Out.
It reminds me of the Baby Doll episode from Batman the Animated Series.
Okay, like that. No, the one that just, why can't I do this? Why can't I think of this movie now? The one with the aliens, with the bubble, with the cloud.
One, you mean Independence Day?
No, the one that Jordan Peele literally just put out, the most recent one.
Nope.
No,
right. Jesus
yes.
H.
Sorry.
The simplified titles are the ones that you just abandoned. But anyway, it makes me think of that one part in Nope. But again, we're talking about it just because it's being shot at the same time in the same place as the World Cup. I don't know. The connection is thin there. Thin, Dan.
And I mean, Caleb in the chat pointing out, yes, no,
Caleb,
that's the.
Yes, I know. Thank you. God, I could not get there. Woo.
No, well, but I will say, like, it's good to see that there's more money out there for creators to tell the stories they want to tell. But given, like the human rights record of the Saudi Arabian government and like what they've done in the past, I imagine that money comes with certain conditions. So that's probably the downside of it. So we'll see what that turns into.
That's for sure. Yeah.
But I wanted to bring it up because it's the business of Hollywood. Like, it's not just like a few $1 million. There's billions of dollars being invested here. So let's see if anything good comes out of it. Obviously, a couple of Bollywood movies and even Hollywood movies have already filmed. It's taken advantage of the facilities and the tax incentives provided. But nonetheless, let's get on to the next piece of news. This one comes from across the pond, or I guess it depends on where you will find him. These days, you'll find him in a movie theater, in an IMAX 70mm movie theater, watching Interstellar, a 10-year-old movie that is coming back to our screens. So I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on John, what are you sending me here? We're gonna pull it up. We got some breaking news to get into in a second.
It's not breaking news. They've talked about it in the chat like 3 times already. You guys, sorry.
I know.
We're not ignoring you. We just haven't got there yet.
Yeah, we'll get to it. DCU Daily will get to it.
We're not ignoring it.
right now, let's talk about Interstellar, which is back in a movie theater near you after 10 years. Now, and they initially were only putting it out in IMAX, but now it's like you can go to like an AMC and you might even get like a non-IMAX screening of it, I think. So it's done so well. It's like one of the best re-releases that we've gone for any movie, and it's 10 years old. It's not like they re-released Spider-Man No Way Home 3 years after it came out. And it's rare that you see a movie perform this well this long after its first original run at the box office, John. So what are your thoughts on this? Because even Christopher Nolan is like, I'm so gratified by the response. He's usually very, he's not like somebody who's outspoken. He's not somebody to praise things over the top, but like he's saying 10 years later to have audiences coming in and experiencing it the way that it originally intended it on the big IMAX screens, it's really rewarding. Like you just kind of see that the man is surprised in the best of ways if possible. What are your thoughts on this? Just Interstellar being back in a movie theater at 70mm IMAX, no less.
And I didn't really like the film that much. I thought it was like kind of good at
Don't
first.
Get it, man.
Like I liked it at first from like a visual standpoint, but then the more I thought about it, I just didn't really like the story and I didn't really care about the characters all that much. So, it's a fine movie, but I don't know, like it's fine, but I'm glad Nolan is happy with his achievement. That's cool. I mean, I'll see his next movie. I like a lot of his movies. I'm just kind of like, that's cool. That's great. I'm glad he's happy. I was never really a huge fan of the movie, so.
Yeah. I'm just going through that Mike Flanagan article. Okay, we're going to get into that later, but let's keep the conversation with Interstellar. I was just trying to read the headline. I'm like, what is it? So Mike Flanagan's involved? Anyway. Interstellar, not only is it like doing well, it's doing so well, people are reselling tickets for like insane dollar amounts, $215 to go watch a movie in IMAX. Like, I know tickets have been expensive nowadays, but would you pay Liz, like, would you pay $215 to go watch this movie in IMAX?
Listen, I'm gonna be very, very clear in my wording here. If you are spending $215 to repurchase an IMAX ticket off Joe Schmo on the internet, you're a fucking moron. You're the dumbest fucking part of society, and you should probably walk off a cliff, because that's the stupidest thing I've ever fucking heard. My theater is only showing one showing of it a day. So I don't understand how it's making these numbers. I'm not coming from a place of anger about it. That's great. Good for Nolan, good for the production company, good for the audiences, good for the theaters. That's wonderful. But if you're a dumb shit out there spending $215 fucking dollars for an IMAX seat so somebody can cough on you and so you can get your fucking feet stuck to the floor with the popcorn and the soda residue, you're an asshole. You're an absolute asshole. And I don't understand how you can go through life and not be struck by a bus every fucking day. I don't understand it. Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
But
it's not Taylor Swift tickets.
Okay.
What the fuck are you doing? No.
I mean,
it doesn't make any sense.
I'd pay for that over Taylor Swift tickets. Like,
but listen, again, I'm happy for the studio. I'm happy for the movie theaters. That's great. It makes no sense to me at all that it's pulling these numbers. Again, my theater is only showing one showing of it a day, and that is it. I liked the film. However, much like Inception, it made me feel like a real fucking moron trying to understand the science and how everything worked. But great.
Relativity.
People are out there and enjoying it. But you pay $215 for a theater ticket, you should be shot in the street. You really should. I'm sorry.
That's fair
ridiculous.
Fair enough. I will say though, every time I watch Interstellar and you get to that scene where Matthew McConaughey's character is sitting there watching the montage of all the messages from his two kids growing up and then having families and moving forward in their careers and really just the tears he cries. I'm like, that feeling is something
that was a good scene. I will say. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying it's not up there with it's not like Dark Knight.
You can stream it for free probably. What are you spending $215 for a fucking ticket for? Stop.
Because it's an IMAX.
No, you're an asshole. You're an asshole. It's not like the theaters are sold out. Fuck out of here. I can't. This is the kind of thing that makes me never want to leave the house, you guys. Honestly.
By the way, Fiona's asking me to buy her a ticket. We will, like Friday. Just wait till Friday, Fiona.
Not a $215 goddamn dollar ticket, Dan. I'll drive to your house, sir. Don't even. Don't.
Interstellar is not free on YouTube, Watcher. I think you might have bought it somewhere, or you might be able to watch it free with ads.
Everything's
but
on YouTube. He's absolutely no. Watcher is absolutely.
But hold on, Watcher.
Correct. I'm sure you can find it.
Okay.
I'm sure you might have to watch it in like 5 different parts, but it's on there. It's on there.
The whole point of this is the fact that you can go watch it on IMAX. Like Christopher Nolan said, it was intended to be seen on like the biggest screen with the best sound system.
Great.
And look, I get that. Look, I get the hate list, but like the movie is still to me, it's like the 2001: A Space Odyssey of this generation.
IMAX. You can rent the IMAX theater for a private screening
right.
of Interstellar for less than $215 goddamn dollars.
Right,
Stop
but
it.
imagine. Okay, but here's the thing now, because that price gouging was happening when it was only going to be in theaters for like a weekend, but it did so well, as you see on screen here, that they have expanded it. Now it's going to be in theaters for a whole extra week, and it's already made.
So those people that
like
bought it,
$4.5 million.
So those people that
crazy.
bought those tickets thinking it was only going to be a weekend release now feel like assholes, as they should. So that's fine. Again, I have no problem
man. That's their call.
The film. I have no problem.
Although it wasn't astronomically expensive, I did the same thing to make sure I was seeing Superman the Christopher Reeve story when it was only a Fathom event, and then it got released nationwide a couple months later. So it's like, but I mean, it wasn't $200. It was still a normal ticket.
Buy the DVD, or like I just stop. You can rent it on streaming somewhere for much cheaper.
Look, but here's the thing, Liz. I will say this.
I can buy a 50-inch TV for that amount of money.
I hear you. Okay, but I think you're getting stuck. You're getting stuck on the wrong thing here. Like it's not about the cost.
I promise you I'm not.
Because here's the thing, $215 is, yes, that's the extreme choice, but I'm saying the movie is doing so well that they're now putting it out in not just IMAX screens, but you'll be able to see it on like a normal screen, or you can go see it on like a non-70 millimeter IMAX screen, and there's more showings and there's more tickets. Everybody who has gone to see it over this last week, packed houses everywhere. Like it's crazy to see that a movie that's 10 years old, that I'll be honest is one of the best science fiction movies of this century, of the last 50 years. It is up there as one of the best of the sci-fi genre. It depicts not only was it the first time that mathematically and scientifically what an actual spinning black hole looks like, that was depicted accurately for the first time ever, because Kip Thorne, one of the most well-known physicists, ever, he's still around, and he consulted on it, and he actually did the math, sent the formulas to the VFX team, and they plugged it into their systems, and the visuals we get, that's what it looks like in real life. It's not like an artist's depiction. So that alone, and then how Christopher Nolan takes it and makes it an emotionally poignant story where you can connect to the characters and yet understand how relativity works, and how being in a higher, gravity well versus being on Earth or something, it will change how time passes for you, faster or slower.
I'm not.
It just, to me, as a sci-fi nerd, Interstellar is like probably the best sci-fi movie that I've, because it's not an well, yes, but that's because now it's playing for an extra week, so that scarcity effect is going to be less so. But you look at the re-release numbers, it's made $16 million. That's no small chunk of change. That number, just think about this, John, for a second. It's made more money.
Why are you looking at me? I'm Switzerland.
I know, but I'm saying.
Like, what are you talking about?
No. I'm just saying, just for reference, Interstellar's re-release has made more money than The Fall Guy did in its opening weekend. And, well, yes, definitely Joker Folia do. And Furiosa, like 3 movies that were expected to make like 500, 600, 700 million, even $1 billion at the box office. And they fail so hard, and then Interstellar comes out and it's re-released and makes more money in like 1 weekend, 10 years old.
I have no problem with any of that. I think that's wonderful. I'm happy for them. The film is absolutely beautiful. Okay, cool, sweet.
It's great. I'm just saying, it doesn't happen very often.
Holiday season, I hope you all take your grandparents to see it. I hope you buy the big box of popcorn, help the theaters out. Don't spill it on the floor, and empty your trash at the end. Don't be an asshole. Wonderful. Everybody flock to IMAX, please. There are plenty of seats still available, as you can see. Great. fantastic.
Well, wherever Liz goes to see movies, clearly nobody's interested. But the results are still impressive nonetheless, because in the years since the movie came out, in its initial run, it made 681 million, and since then it's added on enough money to get past 730 million, which is great. I'm just saying it's great. The results are fantastic.
No, it's awesome. The results are wonderful. That's awesome. But anybody who's spending $215 for a ticket is a piece of shit. That's it.
Which is fine, Liz. I think you just latched onto that one little bit of information. I'm just saying, Interstellar is meant to be seen on the biggest screen possible, and yes, yeah, like Fiona's saying, I just wish Liz would tell us how she really feels about things. But thank you, Liz. Like we do appreciate the honesty.
Sorry.
All right, well, let's move forward, and we're gonna get into what we are calling now the quick hits. If you guys have been around this channel long enough, you'll know the quick hits are like the OG version of the news, but we're bringing it back, and you might be wondering, why are we bringing it back when we have the news? Well, because the news, as you can tell, we can talk about for an hour, but quick hits we will talk about for like a minute, because they're quick hits. So let's get this ball rolling, and we're gonna start going through some pieces of news that are, well, they're worth a conversation, but they're really not worth more than maybe a few minutes of our time, rather than like a whole hour of our time. So let's get into it. We're gonna first start with Jim Carrey. He was like, hey man, I'm gonna be honest with you. The reason I came back for Sonic 3 is because I bought a bunch of stuff and I need the money. And I'm just like, funny. It's refreshing. I'm like, just be honest, It's like, it's great that you're here for the money, and you can.
Art supplies ain't cheap, man. And he works on giant canvas. Yeah. He's got bills to pay. I get it.
Yeah, like I love it.
You know what? I'll take it. Like Sonic 3 looks baller, and that's good with me. Like honestly, I'll take it, because as long as he actually puts his all into it and doesn't pull like a Marlon Brando on Superman the movie, then like I'm cool with that. Like go Queen, or whatever the fuck the Slay Queen, whatever the fuck people say nowadays.
Slay Queen. I believe the gang signs again. Oh, whatever.
But yeah, I think this is pretty great. It's funny. Yeah.
It's just I just love it. Like he's reached that point in his life now where he's like, I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna say it how it is. This is how it is. This is how it's gonna be. I came back for the money. I'm proud of it. I got nothing to hide. All right. Well, let's go to the next quick hit here. So, Greta Gerwig, as we know, has been working on this Chronicles of Narnia reboot over at Netflix for a while, and now we know that it's going to start filming in July 2025. And according to what she said in an article on Deadline, it's a very new take. It's all about rock and roll, and with the guitar emoji. I have no idea what that means.
I have no fucking clue what that means, and now I'm scared.
Chronicles of Narnia as a rock and roll movie? What is this like meant to be like Romeo and Juliet with guns?
Lord of the Rings, and Greta Gerwig is ruining Chronicles of Narnia. Let's fucking go, boys.
Yeah, she's kind of becoming like a little Lena Dunham for me, and every time I see her release something, I just roll my eyes. I'm like, here we go. Like, just.
I'm like, I think she got Barbie. I think it went to her head. Now she's like, off the deep end, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
God. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, we got Lenny in the chat. We got Ray J in the chat.
No, what up?
Oh, hey Ray J. Hey Vicente. Yeah. Greta.
I love Ray J. Hell yeah, Narnia. Rock and roll. Never mind.
Exactly.
3 different comments.
Exactly. Listen, I'll see it. Yeah. Hopefully it's great, but this is not getting me excited, I'll tell you that.
It's on Netflix, right? It's just going to be on Netflix? Like, it's not going to have a release in theaters, right? Or is it just produced by Netflix?
It's produced by Netflix. I think it's going to get a limited theatrical release, but this is a Netflix thing. Like, they paid money for this. This is like Netflix.
Well, I mean, it's Netflix. Stuff. They paid money for the dumbest shit. So it's like, oh, Greta Gerwig doing Narnia? Yeah, that's the dumbest thing we could possibly imagine. Let's do it.
Well, Caleb said we better hear Metallica in Narnia, and then then
I love Metallica.
I'm all in, and I'm all in.
Please stop ruining like these old fantasy epics, please, for the love of God.
Like, freaking Queen's coming down like, stop. Like, come on, dude, it's gonna be wild.
Yeah, Disney. By the way, Lenny, Disney did produce
a single guitar.
Yeah.
You know what this adaptation needs to do? Fade to black. I'm not apologizing.
Moving on.
Well, Lenny, to answer your question, yes, Disney did produce the original series of movies, but it's not. They don't own the franchise, so that's why I think the rights reverted back to the owners. and so now we've basically Netflix kind of
Damn, they're making Disney look good. That's a shame. Anyway, let's move it all along. I don't want to look at this anymore. Let's listen to Fiona. Speed it
up. All right, speeding it up. All right, let's go.
All right, well, I Love Lucy. Speed it up a little.
Speed it up. So Paul Mescal is set to star in Sony's Beatles movie, says Ridley Scott. What do you guys think about that?
What? Wait, hang on. Wasn't there? Wait, wasn't? No, not. Wasn't? Wasn't there like going to be like 4 separate biopics and then a Beatles biopic, or was that Sam Mendes?
I would fucking watch the shit out of that. Hell yeah.
No, they're doing one for each member, and they're gonna come out like in the same year. I think that's what was going on.
I'm for it. Let's do that.
Yeah, and then I thought Sam Mendes was gonna be.
No. Ridley Scott is saying that he won't be able to work with Paul Mescal on another sequel to Gladiator for a while because he's going to be tied up in all the Beatles movies.
Okay, that makes more because Sam Mendes announced this. I know that there was Barry Keoghan was like considered as Ringo.
He's going to be Ringo. Yep, he's playing Ringo Starr, which is perfect. He has a giant nose as well. No, but when I saw this headline, I was like, if he's not playing Paul, then I don't give a shit. And he is playing Paul, so Paul is playing Paul. So I'm
literally just putting him because his name is Paul. It's like
no, because that's the only one he looks like. He doesn't look like John. He doesn't look like George. He doesn't look like Ringo. He looks like Ringo.
We already got the
Beatles in one pumped about it.
I mean,
come on.
Yes, but moving on. Quick hits.
That sounds cool. Anyway.
Yes, it's you know what? We'll see. So, Paul is busy, but Austin Butler is also busy because unfortunately they told him he was gonna hang around a while in the Dune franchise, but then he walked in on set one day and you were like, you're dying today. So like, all right, well he's got to find another gig.
I mean, we knew that he dies in the book. Like,
John is the quickest. Just go on with it. Like. Come on, let's keep the ball rolling. Austin Butler.
Butler. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
Yes, that's what it is. This is like my friend's way of.
Yes, sir. Anyway.
Yeah, whatever. That's what it is. So Austin Butler is set to star as Patrick Bateman in the American Psycho movie that Luca Guadagnino is working on. We know that Luca Guadagnino is potentially working on a movie with Daniel Craig again, collaborating for a Sergeant Rock movie for DC Studios. But American Psycho, we know, is happening for sure. The Sergeant Rock movie is still a little iffy. Austin Butler, though, joining in, playing the same character that Christian Bale did in the original. John, are you excited about this?
I don't think it needs a remake because the original is one of the greatest fucking horror movies of all time. One of the greatest. It's like its own thing. Mary Harron did it beautifully. I think like having a woman's perspective on a male-focused, hedonistic, materialistic serial killer worked wonders, and that's what made that movie work as well as it did, as well as Christian Bale's amazing performance. I still think it is his best performance. The only way I can see this working is that if it adapts more of the book, and considering how enormously fucked up the book is, I don't think they'll do that. So it's like, why? However, ignoring that aspect of like, why a remake? Because, well, when there's no more original ideas left in Hollywood, dead franchises will walk the earth. So, that's what we got to deal with. Ignoring all that, I think Austin Butler is a great choice. Yeah. He has shown he is a spectacular talent. I would have preferred Glenn Powell, but I think Austin Butler could do a magnificent job. And, I would watch it for him. And then Luca Guadagnino is a good director. So I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued. I don't know if it'll be any good, but like, I'm intrigued with it. Like you have my curiosity. You don't have my attention just yet. You just have my curiosity. So that's just it.
Sorry, Liz has nothing to add to that. And with that comes
my only comment is hot.
Cool. Next. And on that note, we're gonna bring quickest to an end.
You do see Christian Bale's ass in the original movie, so maybe they'll redo that scene for the remake.
Nice. Well, let us know guys, if you guys want to see Austin Butler's ass in the new movie, then let us know in the comments below what you think. Go down there, much like Bruce would or Jim Carrey, and see if you can earn yourself a few $1 million while you're at it. Coming back to play the villain of Sonic 3, or maybe not. Maybe he's gonna be the good guy by the end of that movie. Who knows? But drop down in the comments below and let us know what you think about those quick hits. We got Paul Mescal tied up with the Beatles. We got Austin Butler tied up with American Psycho. But right now, we're going to get ourselves tied up with DCU Daily. So on the other end of this quick little mini break so we can go take a sip of water, we'll start up with talking about, of course, what James Gunn has been saying about the Superman trailer and the breaking news that is the Clayface movie is a go at DC Studios. John is so excited. We'll be right back to talk about that and so much more. So keep at it. And we'll be back in like 5 seconds? We're not going very long. It's just we just gotta switch up the graphics. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show, and now we're going to talk about DCU Daily. DCU Daily, of course, 5 days a week. We're here with you to talk about the latest from the world of DC Studios, DC Elseworlds, anything to do with what James Gunn says. If he goes to the bathroom, if he farts in the wind, whatever the case might be. Right now, he's just signing off on new projects and greenlighting all kinds of crazy shit. So the first thing before we get into the breaking news, John, I wanted to ask you about the Superman trailer stuff. Like, are we actually getting a trailer this month or not? Because James Gunn seems to be telling people, like, why are you still waiting for this thing? Like, it's not happening.
Didn't he already fucking say? Didn't we already just fucking talk about this like a couple of weeks ago? It's not coming out in December. He already said this. Why are we fucking still talking about this? Again, Lizz, William Shatner, get a life.
Get a life.
Like, I don't like. I know people are excited. I'm excited. But I'm thinking of it. I am a man of logic. I try to think logistically when it comes to this sort of thing. And they've been working on post-production for a couple months now, which in the world of, well, at least what James Gunn wants to do with superhero movies, big budget blockbusters, you need time to work on VFX and cutting and all that shit. So, and they just did pickup shots. So it's just like, wait a second. We're not going to be getting it. We're probably going to get it in February, either with the Super Bowl or around that time. So just wait a couple more months. We were like, as I said before a couple weeks ago, just yesterday, it was fucking July when they were filming in Cleveland. And you know what? Now it's almost Christmas. So, it's just wait a few months. It'll be fine. I know people are excited. You're gonna blink and the trailer is gonna be here. You're gonna blink again and the movie is gonna be here. You're gonna blink and Superman 5 is gonna fucking be here. So like, it's just life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. So don't be focusing on stupid shit like a trailer for a movie that's gonna inevitably be coming out anyway. I said inevitably wrong, but it's fine. We're doing it live. It's fine.
It's fine. Caleb already says maybe I prefer movies without third acts. So James, maybe he's like, what? But hey, we know that James Gunn can be coy about things. So knock on wood, maybe we will get a trailer on in December at some point. Maybe it does play behind Mufasa. Like, wouldn't we all be surprised and in the best way possible if that does happen? But we'll see. Now let's hop across and let's talk about the breaking news, and then we have a few other DC items to get into. But of course, we cannot wait any longer. You guys have already been bringing it up in the chat. Yes. It broke while we have been live. So guys, the breaking news is this: there is a Clayface movie officially underway at DC Studios, and it is indeed being written by Mike Flanagan. This is something, John, you have been speculating about for a while. There's been like news tidbits dropping here and there, hints that maybe Mike Flanagan's going to be involved in some way or another, and it looks like we finally know that he is now committed to working on this for DC Studios.
He's the Henry Cavill of directors. He has like 17 projects that he has to do. I don't blame him, because the man is one of the most talented people in Hollywood right now. He's one of my favorite. He's probably my favorite horror director. I mean, both him and Robert Eggers are absolutely goated. They are immensely talented, and he tweeted this, and it's just like back when DC was run by idiots. They're like, yeah, let's not have the guy who fucking where every one of his projects has been unanimously praised do a Clayface movie. No, let's not do that. And James Gunn is like, get back here, Mike. Come on, we'll make this shit work. Come on, let's do this. He's like, I know you have Life of Chuck, Dark Tower, Exorcist, all this other shit, but like, come on, let's take a walk on the wild side. Let's go. Come on, Mike. Let's go. He's like, all right, I'll do it. You got me. Okay. So we're getting this amazing film. We're getting this absolute fucking immensely great. It's gonna be great. If it's not great, I will flash my ass on camera when this movie comes out. Like, I have that much confidence in this fucking movie. It'll be amazing. Clayface will be amazing. If they get Alan Tudyk for this, even though it's going to be a different fucking iteration, that'll be even more amazing. So I'm just saying this will be the greatest fucking thing ever. I love Mike Flanagan with all my heart, and this is I'm so excited, guys.
Don't start harassing people for a trailer.
I'm not going to be harassing people for a trailer. I know. I'm just going to be like, Mike, I love you.
My dear.
I love you. I love you more than your wife does. No, I'm just kidding. That's too mean. Anyway, I'm just kidding. I swear I'm kidding. That was a joke. Bad joke. I apologize. But I'm just going to say ladies and gents, this is going to be the greatest DC Studios project we're going to get. I can confirm it. Let's go. Let's fucking go. I'm not speeding it up. Okay, I'm done. Anyway. But yeah,
you just gotta let it go just long enough so that it gets awkward, and then we
it gets awkward, and then we cut.
Yeah, then we.
But like, I'm excited for every single one of his projects. Mike Flanagan, like, it has just been proven time and time again. Even his weaker projects have been very good. So I'm excited for Life of Chuck. I'm excited for Dark Tower. I'm excited for Exorcist. I'm excited for this. And I'm sure he has a bunch of other projects in the lineup as well. I don't think this is going to be connected to DCU. If Mike Flanagan is a part of it, this is going to be its own thing. Like, I think
it would be cool if it connected like that.
If it connected, I wouldn't be mad or anything. Definitely not. I'm stoked. I would be stoked either way.
You're ready to strip from this bad boy.
I just think that Mike Flanagan would do something more like the original Clayface, where it's more like Phantom of the Opera, kind of tragic.
But, I mean, isn't it? This is in the same universe where we're gonna get like the Watcher was saying, we're gonna get Clayface in Creature Commandos. So I'm wondering now, does that tie up Mike Flanagan's, take on the character a little bit? Because
I mean, he wrote this back in 2021, and I am imagining that because as I mentioned, the original Basil Karlo, he was just a guy in a mask. He was just a guy who was, he showed up like twice in the Golden Age comics. Then he kind of fucked off, and then they brought in Matt Hagen, Treasure Hunter, which was more this version where he's like a shape-shifting clay monster. And then they did that a bunch of times, and then the Basil Karlo came back. He absorbed like 3 of the Clayfaces and became like Ultimate Clayface. It was a whole thing. It's a whole thing. There's like 7 Clayfaces. It's a lot. But I can imagine that he would probably go with the dark, tragic horror villain that was it did. Christmas came fucking early, and I'm stoked. And that means that Paris Olympics actually fucking meant something with him and Peter Safran.
Yeah.
Now we just have to wait for the Kumail Nanjiani Booster Gold announcement. So, I'm willing to now. I don't want to say I'm going to bet money on it. I'm just saying it's more than likely it's going to be an Elseworld project, because similar with Matt Reeves, he's doing his own thing, like so different. And Mike Flanagan is one of those like heavy vision filmmakers where he just like he does its own thing and does whatever he wants to do. And so I think it's going to be Elseworlds. But the thing is, I wouldn't be mad if it's part of the DCU, like if it's part of that continuity and whatnot. And I wouldn't mind that. I think either way, I'm good, but I'm saying it's more than likely an Elseworlds project. So,
yeah.
Because it was, I assume he pitched this again to James Gunn, because he said he wrote it back in 2021, and, and we're
It's gonna be a lot of fun. You just keep rhyming, like, you know. Pictures to James Gunn. It was 2021. He said it would be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be all the power of one buns. Yeah. Who's the rap god now, Marshall? Anyway.
Where's the beat? Like, we gotta put on a beat anyway. Okay.
No, yeah.
Liz is like, what is going on? Liz, do you have any thoughts on this? Are you looking forward to seeing the Clayface movie?
I'm happy that John is happy, and John is going to educate me about this character. Again, yet another project I never thought I'd be watching, but now because I'm a part of this wonderful show, I'm going to be watching that as well. So hopefully it's great. And again, I just look forward to the education that I'll be getting from John and his.
Well, we don't know the details, so we don't know what specifically the Clayface is going to be. So once that starts coming out, I'll start educating people. So,
well, again, we know we're pretty sure he's going to be in Creature Commandos. So either way, I'm going to learn some things.
I mean, I have a question, John. So remember how we've been talking about this for a while? Because Lenny's saying, by the way, Dan and John, he's never been so needy as trying to rap just now, big arse nerds. Yes, fair enough. But my question to you, John, is we've been talking about this for the last week or so. James Gunn teasing that, I just greenlit a project. I can't even tell you about this yet. Now, here's the thing. This is...
Is it this?
Well, A, is it this? And B... the source in this article,
and he's doing Carrie. I forgot about that one.
Jesus Christ. But he is for Universal. But this isn't coming from DC Studios. A DC Studios representative had no comment for this. And so who they're sourcing here is the source is somebody with direct knowledge of the production, but not James Gunn.
I'm willing to, you know what, at this point, I would say, doubt. Nope, not doubt. I'm not doubting this. I can't doubt it. I'm too excited now. I'll think better with a clearer head, but for right now, it's going to happen. I'm happy. So, shush.
But I'm just saying, like, do you think this is the unannounced greenlit project that James Gunn was talking about? Because, I mean, what else could it be, right? Like, is it, or unless they greenlit two things, and then this is just one of the two. But obviously, it's not confirmed by James Gunn yet, so maybe things aren't official.
And that's why I don't think it is. That's why I don't think it is because
why are you bumming my joy?
No, I'm just saying I don't think that's the project that he was referring to because James is everywhere and he comments on everything, and the fact that he hasn't said anything about this leads me to believe that what he was talking about was something else. That's all. Listen, I am not harping your mellows. I'm very excited for you, John. This is going to be great. I'm just saying I don't think that was the project James was referring to.
I don't think so. Yeah, I think because I think he was talking about an official DCU project, and I don't think that's what it is. Although he just did announce a couple hours ago that Harley Quinn is coming out January 16th, so there's that. But we don't care because Harley Quinn sucks. So moving on, Mike Flanagan, somebody actually talented with a great character. So
okay, well, since we're going down this road, if it is not Clayface that James Gunn was talking about, then what? At this point, what else could it be? Because now, like, this movie, here's the other thing about this article, right? We know there's one movie coming out next year. There's one movie in 2026, Superman 2025, Supergirl 2026. But here they say filming for the Clayface movie is expected to begin early next year, right around the same time that Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and Lanterns are set to go into production. So I do wonder, I mean, if they've greenlit two projects, then does that mean, I mean, because right now, if you're filming it next year, I imagine this movie's coming out in 2026, right? And then where does that put that other project? Does that, like, are we gonna get the 2 movies and 2 TV shows as early as 2026, like what James Gunn?
Well, I mean, it would be 3 because you know what else is coming out in 2026 is Batman Part 2. So
that's true. I mean, even though that's Elseworlds, but yes, I hear
this
you.
Might be Elseworlds. Yeah,
could be.
So, you know, very exciting.
Could it be Booster Gold? There's been a lot of talk about Booster Gold these days, so I don't know.
Yeah, although he said that they're not ready yet. Waller, Brave, and the Bold and Booster Gold are not quite ready yet, so there is that to think about as well. Just saying.
I mean, like, I think the Watchers is giving you a home run here, John. He pitched this shit back in 2021. It got dropped. Then it got picked up by the GOAT. I'm talking James Gunn. This shit gonna make a Billy. That's called a home run. Okay. All right, you know, yeah, too bad we didn't have a beat. We need like a beat drop somewhere. But it works. I mean, I do hope that this is Thank you.
I don't know.
Yeah, and thank you, Watcher, for.
I don't know. I don't think there's anything rap related on this, but you know, I don't know. We have just a thing of songs here. I don't think any of them work. Oopsie daisy. Anyway, Ray J bars, straight up bars,
Let's color bars. Go. Black and white. I'm doing the hand signs again. All right. Well, we gotta move on to talking about some other DC news because, of course, we then have to talk about Marvel. You could tell Liz is like, "Well, how long are we gonna spend on this Clayface topic?" Like, I've had it up to here with this.
I'm very happy for John. But all that matters.
But all right. Well, John, I know you're very happy for Superman, and Superman is now about 6.5 months away. So, with that in mind, James.
No trailer. No, I'm kidding. Sorry.
Gotta ask James Gunn. Every time somebody does, he's like, "You're still waiting for that trailer? What trailer? Didn't I tell you like that trailer's not happening?"
It's like, what are you talking about? This is movie? 2020.
Superman?
2021. Superman. What are you talking about?
There's no Superman. Like you mean the Man of Steel? Like no, that was 2013, guys. Like this is like it's long and done and dusted. Henry Cavill's over at MGM, like Amazon MGM. He's not. What are you talking about? Anyway, but he did mention that he's got quite a few inspirations for Lex Luthor. He said, "God, there are so many, blessed from the start." He didn't say that, but he did say that before. Lex is one of my favorites. He works on many levels, and it's been a joy bringing him to this screen with the incredible Nicholas Hoult, blessed from the start. I'm just gonna say that in the middle of things randomly now. Some of the influences were, of course, All-Star Superman, blessed from the start. Azzarello's Luthor and the reckless scientific genius from the 50s and 60s.
I mean, that should be no surprise. I mean, he already said All-Star Superman is a heavy influence on the film. Azzarello's Luthor is a huge story for Lex Luthor. Like everything is from his point of view. We even theorized that Hope in that story is maybe it's going to be some influence on the Engineer. And then and James Gunn even said Silver Age stuff is going to be a heavy influence on the film as well. I mean, he talked about that a couple weeks ago. So, honestly, I mean, Zack Snyder is, he is the worst villain to ever do anything to Superman. So that makes sense that he would be, Superman's arch enemy because he is in real life because he ruined the fucking character for many people for many years. So, it works. It works. But, I, trust me, bro. That's awesome. Bald men unite. I mean, Michael Cudlitz did a great job on the show. I'm excited for what Nicholas Hoult has in store. I think my friend saw, I think it was The Return or a recent movie with Nicholas Hoult. And he's like, I watched this movie and I'm like, he's like, I was excited. I could believe he would be Lex Luthor, but he's like, after seeing The Return.
The Order.
Yeah. The Order, that was it, not The Return. Yeah. I'm sorry. The Order. Yes, thank you. He's like, after watching The Order, he was like, yeah, this guy is gonna fucking be an amazing Lex Luthor. So, I'm stoked for that, and I have no, I'm excited for Nosferatu, although it's a very different role. But
the trailer looks amazing for that movie.
I mean, Juror number 2, I still have yet to watch that. I still need to watch that. That's, I've heard nothing but great things. And, I heard Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, I'm like, let's go. I mean, let's fucking go. Cause he's so immensely talented. I mean, he worked with, has worked with so many amazing people and has had such an illustrious career. I'm excited for it. And I'm excited for what he has to offer in the movie as, Superman's arch nemesis. I'm not excited that it's Lex Luthor again, but I'm excited for what he has to bring to the role.
Yeah. I mean, look, Nicholas Hoult is a beast of an actor, and I just can't wait to see what he brings to DC. I think Liz missed that one, but anyway.
No, I got it.
You got it? Okay, all right, cool. Just making sure. See, Aaron Pierre got it. He's like, you got it, dude. But I'm sure you guys saw this clip. He's been talking about lanterns on his promotional tour for Mufasa. What did you think, John, about his comments? Again, he's taken on the role of Jon Stewart, iconic in the animated world in the comics, but never really had a big presence in the live action sphere. We've always had the other not Jon Stewart, but I'm forgetting Hal Jordan. We always get the Hal Jordan version of Green Lantern. Now we're getting Jon Stewart, and Aaron Pierre is going to be the first one to take that mantle on in live action. What do you think about his comments here? And do you feel more excited by the way he talks about the character? Again, this seems to be the next thing he's going to be working on, right? Like after Mufasa.
Yeah, I mean, I just finally finished Rebel Ridge earlier today, and I'm like, yeah, I was excited before, but now I'm really excited now, because it's like a very similar role. He plays like a military guy in that movie, and he's like jacked, and he's like doing all this shit. But I like how throughout a lot of that movie, he's like gross and disgusting and sweaty. Like I love how like he's so like that's what I really liked. Like about those kind of movies where it's just like they don't like have like a they just rip the shirt off and they have to have an ogling scene of him with abs. It's like, no, he's grungy, he's gross, he's dirty, and I really appreciated that, and I feel like that's gonna add to like the grit to his version of Jon Stewart. I think like I was really apprehensive for something. I don't know if he could do this, but honestly, you guys have made me like see the light, I guess. Like I got more and more convinced by just talking about it. I'm like, yeah, I can see it now. I can really fucking see it. He is, I mean, I knew he was talented. Like I've seen saw a couple of his stuff. I mean, he was in Krypton. He was really good in that too. But like now, I mean, it's a shame he did Mufasa, but and the way he talks about it, that's the thing. He talks about it the way Kristen Milioti has talked about Batman. Is like he's being vague. Obviously, he has to be vague because they haven't done anything yet. But he's like, this is a character that has been, a part of this pop culture zeitgeist for decades. I'm just now a part of that history, and I hope to do that justice. And this is an exciting role for me, and I hope that you guys like it, and I'm stoked for what we have, and I'm stoked for him. I'm stoked for him. I'm stoked for Kyle Chandler as Hal, and they got Dillahunt and McDonald, and unfortunately the other woman's name who I cannot pronounce. All very good actors.
Jagannathan, Purna Jagannathan. Yes, that's her
yes, that. Thank you. But I mean, I've seen them all in various projects. They've all done really good things. Again, I am apprehensive. But the thing is, I just want Green Lanterns to be good, like Green Lantern to be good, because like the only other major live action thing we've gotten is the fucking Ryan Reynolds movie, and I feel like at the very least, Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre and all the other actors are going to do a good job, whatever the writing is going to be. So that's the thing that's like tethering me to this show, is all of them, and especially Aaron Pierre and especially Kyle Chandler, because I know how great they are in other various roles, other similar roles, and I'm excited for them. I'm excited for them, and I'm glad Aaron Pierre seems like he's giving some sort of respectability to this character, the history of this character, to the comics, and to whatever future he is as the character will unfold eventually. So that's cool, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Look, for me, I have a little more optimism about the show than perhaps you do, because I know you have your reasons. But Liz, I wanted to get your opinion on this, just by listening to the way Aaron Pierre talks about the character, and it seems like he respects the character, the role, the history behind it, the mythology, the fandom, and it's kind of like what like John said, Kristen Milioti, like she loved Batman growing up. It's like Frank Grillo was like, I didn't like many superheroes, but I'm over with DC, and this is the one that I read, and that Superman and Batman, and now Green Lanterns. These are very iconic characters. Yes, Marvel has very iconic characters, but DC hasn't been able to kind of maximize the potential of these characters on screen. And now it seems like finally they're, about to do that. And it's always good when you hear like the people who are going to be playing those roles talk about it with a certain sense of reverence. So what are your thoughts on this? Are you excited to see Jon Stewart be portrayed by Aaron Pierre?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good when the actor is excited about a project, when they really seem to know what they're talking about. He's been excited about it even when he was first rumored to, kind of be one of the last couple of people they were considering for the casting. So I think that's great that he's all in. I know nothing but the turds that we've gotten so far from DC for Green Lantern project.
I mean,
so
there was the
I'm
one.
very hopefully optimistic. Again, everything that I've seen from DC as of late has hit it out of the park. So I'm hoping for something really good, and again, to be educated more on these characters. So yeah, I hope I'm gonna see it, and I'm hoping that it's better than the crap they've been serving us in the past. So that's all I can say.
Fair enough. And you know what? It looks like now we not only have 2 projects going into production next year, we have 3. Lanterns, we've got Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and now, of course, we have got also the Clayface movie. And, with that, we've got 3. Not 1, not 2, but 3. We're doing the hand signs again. But let us know in the comments what you guys think. Like and subscribe as always. This was, of course, DCU Daily. We're gonna keep on rolling here because we gotta talk about so much more. We have to talk about Marvel and Sony Marvel. So up next, we're gonna get into talking about Avengers Doomsday. It's a big movie. It's coming out in 2026. Is going into production next year, and we gotta discuss, man, because it's gonna be interesting to see so many veterans of the franchise, as maybe you can call them veterans, maybe you could call them legends, coming back. I want Liz and John for you to give me your take on this. Recently, we got the news that Chris Evans and Anthony Mackie are 2 This is just a theme. Are 2 Captain Americas. The former and the current. They're both gonna be in this movie. Do you think that's potentially a problem? I want to start with the Anthony Mackie news because, of course, he's gonna have at that point start in his own movie, Captain America 4, Captain America: Brave New World. So then he will hop across and pretty much be playing the Captain America. So how do you see that, especially in light of the news that Chris Evans is also going to be joining up with the franchise, returning to the? I mean, he was in Deadpool and Wolverine, so technically it's not like his first appearance, but he didn't play Captain America. But that also begs the question: is he going to be Captain America like Steve Rogers, or like what? Are we going to have 2 Captain Americas in this movie, Liz? What
I don't think so. No, I don't think so at all. I think Anthony Mackie, obviously, he's going to be Cap. That's how they're going to connect the 2 stories to keep it all in the same universe. I was thinking that Chris Evans was going to be the Flame, the Human Torch, that he was coming back for that. But a lot of fans are saying they think he's going to be Captain Hydra, which is really interesting. And kind of with RDJ going the route of Dr. Doom, I think that would be a great thing for them to do, even though because the character is so very different. And I think that would just be something that would be really surprising for fans. So we'll see what happens. But I really, if they give us 2 Caps, if anything, it would be like a flashback moment that Anthony had. I don't know how involved either one of them is going to be. But I really don't see them giving us 2 Caps in this movie. I think they're going to let Anthony Mackie have his moment.
Yeah, I mean they kind of have to because it just with the whole problem with his first ever movie getting too many reshoots and too many cooks, a lot of shit. So I think they're like, okay, this is just, we're going to just have to shit this one out and it's going to be bad. But like, we got to give him the respect he deserves because Anthony Mackie's a great actor. I mean, I've loved him in a lot of stuff, and it's just a shame how like Sam Wilson really didn't get any like focus on his iteration of the character. And then he just kind of got thrown into Captain America when we barely got to know him. So I still stand by him becoming Captain America because everyone's like, oh, what about Bucky?
Yeah.
And I will stand by this.
I think they missed an opportunity with him when Chris hands the torch over to him at the end of the film. They should have then like come out with a project for him almost immediately. But instead, they just kind of sat on it and was like, like he'll show up here, he'll show up there. I think that was the biggest issue, that they should have immediately gone
like
into
Captain America is like the trifecta of the MCU was him, Thor, and Iron Man.
Yeah.
So like having him being like, oh, okay, it's just awkward. But I know because everyone's like, oh my god, Bucky should have been Captain America. It's like, no, the whole point was that Bucky was the perfect soldier. Sam was the good man. That was the whole point. But it's just a shame because it's like if it feels like you're not having a succeeding trifecta, and I think that's one of the biggest problems. Like, you don't have anyone to latch on to.
Yeah, they should have given him his moment so that fans could get behind him in the very beginning. So we'll see what happens.
Look at like all the legacies of those three characters. We're finally getting Sam Wilson. Okay, we got Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then on top of the fact, we got Brave New World, which might not be great. And then for Iron Man, you have Ironheart, which nobody gives a fuck about. And then you had Lady Thor, but apparently she fucking died. So
and nobody gave a fuck about that either. People were pissed about that. I don't, so
it's
you're not going to make everybody happy. That's bottom line.
I know. So. I'm just saying it's just if you're trying to succeed these characters and you're not doing a very good job, because all these succeeding characters, nobody really cares about them. I understand they're newer and it's going to be hard after 10 years of knowing these other characters, but it just feels very empty now, and it just doesn't feel as
and that's just it. They're trying to create worlds and storylines with new characters, but they went about it all wrong. So they threw in Bucky into Thunderbolts to kind of get people behind it and excited, but in reality what they should have been doing is focusing on the bigger projects with the bigger character names, and then pulling the smaller characters and roles into the fold throughout. But instead they went the Disney Plus route, they went the TV show route, they went the movie route with all of these smaller characters, and everybody just kind of fell off on the ones that were already established. So it's there was a lot of things that could have been done differently and should have been done. So this is what we're stuck with now. But again, I don't think that Chris Evans is going to come back as Cap. Like I said, I was thinking maybe the Human Torch from another universe, if they're going to bring in the multiverse at all. But Captain Hydra would be wild, and I hope that's what it is, because if anything, I think Chris Evans would be more apt to do something completely different than what he's done for the past 10 years. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'm just saying, I think what they should have done with I understand maybe it was an annoying move, because it's we're just building this shit up again, but it's that's what you kind of had to do. It's you're getting all these big things and you focused on a villain that you now can't use anymore because the dude got arrested. So what they should have done is build up another Avengers. That's what it should have happened, and you should have gotten all these characters that were definitely going to be in the next big Avengers movie, instead of just doing all this TV stuff that didn't matter, or doing all this other. It's just it just didn't feel right, and it just I Captain Hydra could be an interesting, even though I never really liked the idea of Captain Hydra, but I think that could be. It's villains are fun. Actors love playing villains. I guess it could be a cop. It's better than him as Captain America coming back. And it's a multiversal Captain America. That would be fun.
Like I said, even if they did that, I feel like it would be in a flashback, like Anthony Mackie's having a moment or something, and he's remembering a conversation they had or something. That would make the most sense, but I don't know. It's Chris Evans, so I'm happy that he's a part of anything. So whatever, but we'll see. We will see.
Yeah, we're gonna see. I'm not gonna watch it anyway, so I don't think that doesn't really matter a whole bunch to me. But it's just I do like.
No, I watch your stuff, John. I'm just saying, I watch your stuff.
Oh, I boycotted Marvel long ago.
Yes, I know.
I'm sorry. It just I can't. I will watch Spider-Man. I'll watch Spider-Man.
But you won't watch the Spider-Verse movies. You won't watch which are incredible, which are 10 out of 10s, including the soundtrack.
I've seen both Spider-Verse movies.
You said you haven't.
No, I've seen both of them. Both of them were excellent. What are you talking about?
Okay, good. Then I don't know who I'm talking about then. Well, good. Great. Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. Fantastic. I'm back on the bandwagon.
Honestly, Jeremy Renner is so fucking based. I fucking love this man so much. I remember another news story in regards to Jeremy Renner. He only watched half of this, which I will say, Age of Ultron best Avengers movie, I will die on that hill. But that's beside the point.
But like honestly, like this isn't news though. There are so many actors who don't watch themselves. Like this is
Jesse Eisenberg
I mean?
has never seen any one of his movies.
Jennifer Aniston's never watched a single thing she's done. The guy that plays I'm drawing a blank on his name. The guy that plays Rick in Walking Dead has never seen a single episode of Walking Dead. This is not really news.
Oh yeah,
it's just
Jeremy Renner is
I don't watch my stuff. Okay,
like and because I remember there was another thing. I don't know if this is from like the same interview or something, but I remember seeing a picture. I think it was from this interview where he was like, "Yeah, I don't." Well, he was talking about his accident, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't think the snowplow accident has limited me whatsoever. I'm 25% titanium. Fuck Iron Man." And I'm just like, Jeremy Renner. I just like as the days go by, I fucking love you, man. I'm gonna say this: his Bourne movie's underrated. I always liked it. I'm just saying that right now.
Absolutely.
Come at me.
I dig Jeremy. Everything that Jeremy does is pretty badass.
I've heard what was it, Mayor of Kingstown? Is that the show he's doing now?
Yep.
I've heard he's excellent in that.
Yep.
I don't know if that's something my parents watch. Probably they watch fucking everything. They're like, we have nothing to do. Just bring on TV shows. I'm like, all right, do you guys, whatever. But yeah, this is awesome. I wish the best for him. And Jeremy Renner's based. Who knew?
I mean, he was great in Arrival. He's really good. He was in Wind River with Elizabeth Olsen and John Bernthal. It's a really hard movie to watch, but it's a great movie. He's unbelievable in that as well. So maybe fans should start encouraging him to watch his films because his performances are great. But again, he's not the first actor to not watch any of his projects, so this isn't really news.
I'm pretty sure Marlon Brando never watched anything he ever did,
not a single thing. No, he never read a script either.
Yeah.
So,
I saw a funny thing with Terrence Stamp. He was talking with Marlon Brando. He's like, "Have you read the script?" Terrence Stamp is like, "Well, yeah, of course." He's like, "I haven't read it. I thought it sounded stupid."
No, he would famously get his lines fed to him and then he would just go. Like he would just he'd be like, "What's the tone of my character?" And then he would just go off. So I don't know if that's a testament to what a great actor he is or how much he just
being an egotistical fuckwad. One of the two.
Yeah, honestly. So whatever. But yeah, I just okay, you don't watch your stuff. I understand.
Yeah, but
he's got better things to do.
Kind of interesting, I guess, maybe.
No.
Way to go, Chris Evans, I guess. I don't know. Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. Dan, move us along. I don't think he will. I think
he would.
Here's the thing.
If they let him do everything that they let him do in this past in Deadpool and Wolverine, yes, he will. Yes, he will.
I don't. Here's the thing.
They're going to give him a giant bag, and they're going to say, "Do what you want," and he's going to come back. Of course, he will.
But he also has said he's like, "I got a family to think about. I'm getting older. Maybe it's just like he's like the fact that I got to play this for 3 movies has been a gift. So I think maybe he'll do like 1 or 2 more. But I don't know if he would.
Hugh Jackman also said he was never coming back either. So no. I don't believe any of it. He'll do whatever he's paid to do, for sure. Wrexham's gonna need, a new field one of these days. He's gonna make that money.
All right.
Just saying.
Cool. Way to go, Ryan Reynolds. You do you.
I mean, to me, the big thing about this is he's saying it takes 4 or 5 years of his life to do one of these movies, and he doesn't like to miss his kids,
he's
events.
He's already
and
writing it right now.
So I understand where he's coming from. But
you know what? It's one of those characters he's wanted to play for so long, and he's been trying to get for so long to try to get it green lit that it's one of those things and I know Fiona understands something like that. This has become an obsession for him. This has become a lifelong goal of his, and now it's something that he's never going to be able to escape from. So he's absolutely going to come back for 4, and when he can't act in these films anymore, there's going to be an animated series that plays on HBO Max that's for adults. This is what's going to happen because he can't let this character go. And I don't blame him. It's his passion project, and he's been able to kind of have free reign and do what he's wanted to do. And it's something that he really cares about, and you can't just walk away from that. So I think he's going to continue to do it for sure. Faux show. Next.
That's fair. Yeah, I think John left. He's like, okay, Liz, we get it. Like, I personally, like, to me, he's open. Like Ryan Reynolds in this same interview. This is, by the way, a great series. Andrew Garfield and Ryan Reynolds like talking, actors on actors. Variety's been doing this for a while. This is the new season, so you're welcome to check. Go on their YouTube channel and find it there. And basically, in this conversation, he also brings up like, I'm completely open to coming back and being Deadpool in somebody else's movie. It's just he's a little hesitant about being Deadpool in his own movie.
Yeah,
so
and that's fair.
but
like I said, I think he's just he's never gonna be rid of this character, and that's okay. So I think we're gonna see him in other iterations for sure. He's just not gonna be able to give it up.
Which is, and I don't think. Well, this is the thing though. Like if Disney wants him to do more Deadpool movies, and he's like, I'm not really interested in producing, writing, and not directing, but like acting in another Deadpool solo movie. Do you think it's at all a possibility that Bob Iger or Kevin Feige go, we're going to recast this character, especially now that we're bringing all these new X-Men and, they're going to recast all the X-Men, right? So is it even a remote possibility that you would recast?
If you're talking multiverse, like kind of like they did with Loki, with the variants, maybe, but I don't think they would dedicate any real amount of time to it. It would kind of just be something in passing, because they know the fans would absolutely destroy them. The fans would be furious. They would riot in the fucking streets. You cannot touch Deadpool now for at least 20 years. Unless, like I said, unless it's animated. You cannot cast Deadpool for 20 years. Same thing with Iron Man, same thing with Thor. You cannot touch any of these characters now for at least 2 decades, until I'm retired, until I'm collecting my 401k. They cannot fuck with these characters because we will burn the studios down. So they're smart enough to know that. That's why they've tried going with these aside characters, with the multiverse characters, bringing in other people and storylines.
It's a double-edged sword, though, right? Because you do eventually, like, I know, like the Watcher was saying, Wolverine might be around for a while till he's 90 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it is also at the same time.
There's only so much makeup you can slap on that guy too. He does not.
I know exactly.
Not aging,
I'm like, eventually they'll have to move on, and I'm like the closest.
Like I said, they could go the animated route, and that would be fine. And they can still do it, R-rated. They can do what James Gunn has been doing with Creature Commandos. They can absolutely do that, and fans would be behind them. And they could use the original actors to voice those characters if they were smart. But you cannot recast something like that that's so well established now and is so beloved by fans. You would be a real idiot to do something like that.
Yeah,
but you never know.
I think like they have to consider seriously recasting some of these big characters. I mean, granted, it's not like they're keeping Patrick Stewart around or anything. I mean, at least we don't think they are. But maybe he will be in Secret Wars, but.
No, he's.
I think once you reboot and you get into the era, the phase 7 or whatever, like the era of the X-Men, I do hope that eventually, because for me, Hugh Jackman sticks around until Secret Wars, then they bring in a new Wolverine, and I do wonder if that's the same that they have to do for Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool as well, because after that, there's not going to be another natural point of like a soft reboot, like what Secret Wars is going to allow them to do. So I do hope that's the route to go. But let us know in the comments, guys, what you think. Of course, MCU Weekly. We got John back in the chat. Goodbye, John.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I forgive you. Like it's all right. It's.
Boop, boop, boop. What was it? Boop. What is it? Doop, doop, doop. There it is.
No, there's, yeah. We'll just, but like, if you guys enjoyed MCU Weekly, then of course, go ahead and, like hit that like button. Let us know in the chat what you think. Of course, get down in the comments below, and much like Jim Carrey likes to do, type it out. I know Jay's probably going to be there. Buster Barnes is going to be there. You guys are fantastic. Thank you for joining us live. We are still not done with the show because, of course, we now have to talk about not just regular Marvel, Disney Marvel. We got to talk about Sony Marvel, because Kraven the Hunter Are you craving the Hunter? The movie is set to come out in a couple of days' time. If you're watching us live, it's literally we're a day or two away. And then if you're not watching us live, the movie might already be out in in a theater near you. So are you going to be going to watch it? Are you looking forward to it? Because we've got the first reactions, and we will talk about it. But before we talk about the first reactions, I want to bring in both Liz and John because we have box office projections for the opening weekend, and they are looking worse than Interstellar's re-release, which made $16 million worldwide in this opening weekend. I know, granted, this number, 15 million, is only domestic, but just saying, Interstellar made like $5 million at the opening weekend domestic. It's crazy.
It's gonna be worse than that.
Like, are you guys expecting this movie to like just completely shit the bed? Like, what's
it's gonna 100% shit the bed. It's gonna be the worst thing ever. It's already getting bad reviews. I'm like, I'm stoked. Let's go. Let's fucking go. it's
I just
yeah.
I hope
I'm
this
seeing
sets
it on
up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing it on Monday, and I'm the only person
I'm seeing it tomorrow
in my theater. Oh, are you actually going to see it? I didn't think you were going to see it at all.
No, I'm seeing it in the
That's
theater.
exciting.
Like I'm the only one out of my entire friends group that actually likes, like, the ones that I do like my movie review show with. I'm the only one that like genuinely still goes out, sees these movies in the theater, and like actually have enjoyed relatively all of them to greater degrees than others. But like, whether it's genuinely decent, like the first and third Venom movies, or like just ironically funny, like Madam Web and Morbin Times. So,
Well, I will say Kraven looks interesting enough for me to go give it at least one try in a movie theater.
Because they're idiots.
The trailer, at least it looks better than Madam Web. Madam Web we knew was trash from the get-go. And the picture right there, gang, that's what I'm seeing. I could give a shit about story. I could give a shit about character. I could give a shit that it's in the MCU or not. That 8-pack right there. Yeah. Yes, please. All day long. I'm very excited. Can't wait. It's going to be wonderful.
Well, to quickly answer Lenny's question, because this is a very legitimate question. So here's the thing. Why won't Sony sell the rights to Disney? Please explain. So it comes down to this. Well, okay, John. Well,
they're greedy assholes. Essentially, that's what it is. They just
but
can't let it go.
Let me give you guys like a quick summary. Fuck the penguin. Let me give you a quick summary on why. So basically, Sony, when they got the rights to all the Spider-Man and characters, including of course Spider-Man himself, back in the 90s when Marvel was going bankrupt for the 5,000th time, whatever. And now of course they're owned by Disney, but there was a period of time when Marvel like needed to kind of sell off all these rights, and of course Spider-Man was one of the characters they sold because they were one of the it was the most popular character. Sony Pictures at the time bought it. Now the thing is, as long as Sony keeps making Spider-Man related movies and TV shows, the rights will never revert to Marvel. And also, basically, when it comes down to it, if Marvel ever wanted to buy back the rights, Sony would be like, okay, pay us the money. And I bet Disney would have to table some infinitely stupid amount of money, like, I don't know, $10 billion, which is not what that franchise is worth.
I think the original...
So Sony's never going to give it up. Like, that's
I think the original deal was $7 million for Spider-Man and Spider-Man adjacent characters. And for only like $25 million, they could have gotten everything, but Sony was like, nobody cares outside. Nobody cares about other Marvel characters outside of Spider-Man. So that's why Sony didn't get all of them. So yeah, I mean, they still make money. So it's just like, I mean, they have a deal with Spider-Man, but I think like the deal is changed up a little bit. So I think they can do like a little bit more. I think it's just like for the time being, because they still, I can guarantee they're still going to make movies. Without a doubt, just not like within like the next year. So I don't know how long it takes for the rights to revert back, but I think they're gonna try to do something with Disney so that they can keep making their Spider-Man movies, whether it's with or without Spider-Man. So I mean, I can imagine them doing like, another Spider-Man, like a Silk movie or something like that. I could see them doing that. It's just, but they're way too gritty and greedy, way too stubborn. I know Amy Pascal is way too greedy and stubborn, or whoever fucking owns Sony at this point. I forget who. I think she left, but whoever owns it, they're just too greedy and stubborn to give those rights back to Marvel, even though Marvel is doing actually kind of decent things with Spider-Man right now. So,
I will say this, John, like as far as what the future of the franchise looks like, there's been speculation on the internet and none of it is based in any sense of reality, I think. Because like you said, and to kind of expand on what you said, in fact, Sony, when you do the math on between the Spider-Man movies, because you guys got to remember, even though Marvel co-produces the Sony movies, Sony still gets to distribute them. They still get the majority of the profits from those movies. So Sony is still when what was it? It was Spider-Man No Way Home made like $1.8 billion. The second one made $1 billion. The first one almost made $1 billion. Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home. Between the three of those movies, they made almost $4 billion alone. And since then, of course, the Venom movies, the trilogy of films, made like over $2 billion combined. So when you add to that like total flops like, Madam Web and Morbius, Morbius Kills God or whatever, like that's not a real movie, but Morbius and Madam Web, although that if they did make that movie, that would make $1 billion. And then, of course, Kraven, which is looking like it's going to follow suit with those other two. You add all those together, it's like when you go and have a big night of poker. Like I was watching another podcast and they were like, yeah, if you go play a big night of poker and you lose 5 games but you win big on the 6th one, you could make your money back. So I think Sony right now is in the black. They're like, they'll take a couple of really bad ones and as long as they still have that deal with Marvel where they're making $1 billion or more per Spider-Man movie. And even the Venom movies were all profitable. Even the third one was in the black. It made money. Now, as far as the Kraven the Hunter itself goes, we did get, of course, some first press screening reactions. So I wanted to kind of quickly go through this.
It was a lot of mixed reviews, though. It was really strange.
Mixed is essentially
absolutely hated it, and some people thought it was
it's perfect. That's the word I would use to describe it. Mixed, because when you look at it, like for example, Leo here said a big old bucket of nah. While I like the action, it cut away from it so quick. One didn't get to enjoy it. It's probably like Taken, where Liam Neeson throws a punch and the camera cuts, and he throws an elbow, and then all of a sudden the camera's in a different angle. So it was like awful acting, terrible script, and a waste of Aaron Taylor Johnson, who I actually enjoyed in the role. So again, Aaron Taylor Johnson getting props, but the movie itself not getting the best response. Not a great story, farewell. So he was ready to walk out of the movie theater. Then you look at Sean. Sean was like, it's a knockout. Aaron Taylor Johnson embodies Kraven with his physique, charisma, and raw savagery. Wow, that's a word. The R rating pays off big time. This film is bloody, raw, and brutal while offering a story that does this iconic villain justice. So, and he's dying for more apparently. I don't know. Maybe Kraven will get to him eventually. He will hunt him down. But yeah, it's a total blast. Like Davey says, it's a total blast. Grace Randolph loved it. Don't trust her.
That means it sucks.
Jonathan says, I gotta say, what entertaining movies. Sony Pictures, one of the best SSU movies after Venom. The gore, the action were great. So yes, the reactions are mixed, like you said, Liz. But do you feel like they're mixed in a way that it works for you? Because when you read those reactions, do they speak to your sensibilities, or are you looking at it and now thinking, I guess it's going to be good to see the 8-pack, but everything else is going to suck?
Listen, again, like I said, right out the gate with Madam Web, we knew it was going to be a complete turd. This one at least looks like there's a little bit of action there. They're certainly attempting to give us something plausible and watchable. I don't go to the movies thinking that my life is going to change every time I sit in the theater. So if I walk out feeling that I was entertained, great. If I'm sitting in there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, cringing the entire time, like I did with both Aquaman films, then I'm going to be a little annoyed for sure. But I am looking forward to it just because I love Aaron Taylor Johnson. And, I appreciate that his horrible accent matches Russell Crowe's in the film. So at least there's some continuity there, which I like.
Vidania, yeah.
we're gonna see those arms for 90 minutes, 2 hours. Please, I'm not mad about it, folks.
2 hours, 7 minutes is the running.
There are other
look,
things
he's doing
going
his
on in
best
the
Captain
world.
America.
What do
He's
I
pulling
care?
a helicopter back.
See?
That's,
There are other things going on in the world. This is one of the least things that I'm going to be upset about. So it's like, look at him, just casually with the cross.
Although no arms in this shot, unfortunately. So
that right there is sex appeal in itself. Look at him holding a weapon. My goodness, please, indeed, all day long. If anything, I'm going to be disappointed every time he's not on screen. You know what I mean? So, oof, come on now, get out of here. Get out of here.
I mean, are you saying we get out of here? So it's just you and Aaron Taylor Johnson?
As of right now, I'm going to be all alone in my theaters, so I'm all right.
I'm not leaving. No, you're stuck with me. But look at that smolder. Look at that smolder. He puts me to shame. Definitely.
Johnny's giving you a run for your money, man.
Everybody's has a better smolder than I do. Come on now.
Yeah, that's just him.
Lenny's just like, Liz, calm down, dear.
That's just his face. That's just his face all the time. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
It should be a crime, really.
This is very interesting. Hang on.
Lenny, calm down. John already made that joke. Please. Calm down.
Well, I mean, Lenny,
he doesn't give me the creeps. His wife gives me the creeps.
Yes, that's true. But I mean, we know you want a Scott as Bond, Lenny. We know that's what you really want. So
calm down, Lenny.
And we want Sam Heughan, maybe. Have him be James Bond.
Yes,
get another Scott back in the role. But honestly, I think he could do a really good job as Bond, but that's just me. I think he has the charisma. I think he has the action stardom. It's just like this might put him off for a couple of years. I mean, he's been rumored, so I mean, I could see it. I wouldn't mind it at all. I'm just, let's see for that future. But I'm not excited for Kraven. I'm just like, I'm very much intrigued with this prospect, like the SSU as it's called, or whatever the fuck it is. It's been a disaster from day one. Like, I enjoy Venom. I do think the first Venom movie is a genuinely good movie. Like, it's good. Like, it's not amazing, but it's good. Then the second one was like not great. It was like okay at best. They really ruined Carnage and all that shit. Morbin Time, bad but hilariously bad. Same with Madam Web, hilariously bad. And then Venom 3 was surprisingly decent. Like, that was pretty good. But Kraven, who knows if it's gonna join Venom 1 and 3 or the other ones. So
this might be a movie where I think like the first Venom started off with a low number at the box office, but then people were like, you know what, it might be dumb, but it's dumb fun. It's like Battleship, like it's a guilty pleasure movie. So you may not like love it as objectively a great film, but you just have a fun time at it, right? So I think like it could be that. Now, as far as the future of the cinematic universe that Sony has put together, we know that they have said they're taking a break. They're going to put in place some more measures for essentially called quality control. I was looking for the words. Quality control, which I think they desperately need, because for a movie universe where you go from like the quality of, I don't know, like the first Venom movie, which I thought was pretty good. It was not the best. But I mean, the third act was a little weird, but as most of these movies have. But then all the way down to Morbius and Madam Web, it's like it's up and down. They need to kind of level things out. But this article in the Wrap sort of stirred a frenzy across the internet because people took it as, oh, Sony's Marvel Universe takes final bow for now. Like, the key here is they say
for
in
now.
The article,
that's why I mentioned what I mentioned.
But exactly. But like the internet keeps thinking, oh shit, like we're like this is done. Sony's given up and they're just gonna like give everything to Marvel. I don't think that's the case. I think they're just taking a break. They're just like,
I think we're not going to see anything next year, but I think we might get something in 2026, maybe like the El Muerto movie that with Bad Bunny that got canceled. Well, maybe we'll get that. Maybe we'll get Venom 4.
No, I think that needs to stay canceled. I don't think we need that. Like, nobody's asking for that.
Because the thing is, there are plenty of characters that can work. Like that Silver and Black movie could have been good with Silver Sable and Black Cat. That could have been really good. I don't know why they canceled that in favor of like fucking Madam Web. And that's the problem with a lot of these like characters is Morbius could have worked as a really good like fucking fucked up like sci-fi horror movie. Madam Web could have been like a psychological surreal like Lynchian kind of movie, but they're all just generic schlop because that's just what
because they
just
don't
wanna,
commit
like,
to the
these
job.
out.
Yes, exactly. But the thing is, it's the exact kind of critique that you would get in the 2000s, right? Where you were like, they are making this movie, but they're not committing to the source material the way they should to really maximize the potential of the character.
Yeah.
It just like you don't kill the villain of your movie by dropping the P off the Pepsi sign. You kill him because like your hero does something about it. I don't know. I'm just saying.
And she doesn't get blinded with a firework, Ooh, look at Lord of the Rings. Oof, that is a mighty big oof as well.
Oh, but the 16% is the much bigger oof. And actually, you know what the thing is? Earlier today, there were 17 reviews, and it was sitting at 12%. So it's going up. It's going up.
It's going up ever so slightly by 4%. Oh my god!
I'm like 16%. Like it's like give it a shot. Like you never know. Like it's 84% of the people didn't like it, but 16% did. That would be 100%. I think everybody would love to go see Morbius 2.
It would be 1,000,000%. It would be the first Rotten Tomatoes score with 1,000,000%.
1,000,000%. Like they're just gonna have like 0,
I can guarantee you,
and then ellipses next to it because they can't actually put it all in one page.
I can guarantee you the popcorn meter is like gonna be in the 60s somewhere. I think it's like gonna be like not certified fresh, but like it's gonna be technically fresh. But it's just because like that's what the audience loves. Like they like.
It's gonna be no. I don't blame you. And JC Chandor isn't like the dumbass that made the other two, like Madam Web and
I mean,
Morbius.
he has a like he's been nominated for an Academy Award.
Yeah,
so like
they got somebody who's actually good. Like I think I think it will do better. Like you said, it's closer to Venom in terms of the potential, even though the reviews are admittedly not in its favor.
I mean, he was in he did Margin Call, Most Violent Year, Triple Frontier. He's done some good stuff. Like all of his movies have been like pretty damn good. He even directed the amazing Despacito music video. So there is that as well.
It was amazing. That music video lives rent free in my head. But you know what else lives rent free in my head? That like button. I would really love for you guys to, if you enjoyed the show today, hit that like button. What are you talking about? That was a great segue. See, there you go. Tom Hardy agrees. And Arnold, of course.
That was the greatest segue of all time. Hey, look, actually Spider-Man and not a spin-off character. That's crazy.
Just remember, guys. Just remember, hit that like button.
Subscribe, comment.
Just fight for justice, because fuck the Penguin. We would love for you guys to keep on stopping by as you do. And if you're enjoying the show, of course, get down in the comment section below and let us know what you think. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit that notification bell.
But here's the thing. Dan is so cheesy, but is he cheesier than these Trader Joe's cheese sticks?
Oh, no, man. I am cheesier than the Trader Joe's cheese sticks. Because you need to hit that. You know what, guys? Not only are you going to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, you're also going to hit the notification bell.
Yeah, let me get him.
Why?
Exactly.
Why?
That's the sound that it will make when you hit the notification bell.
With a bell in it, apparently. I don't.
It's the first one that came up, and I said it's good enough.
Like, why not do like Hunchback of Notre Dame? Like,
I don't know. It just didn't feel the same. This just felt better. Like it just felt better.
Or like the music video for Ring My Bell. Like that would make sense. Although we might get demonetized because of that, but
Okay, by the way, Hunter is trying to drop like breaking news in the chat. I don't know if this is true, John. Maybe you could try to source this while we're still live, but I don't know. Like, is this Brainiac and Coco is coming to the DCU? I don't know if I trust Jeff Snyder. He's had a
no, because his last name's Snyder. I definitely don't trust him. Who the fuck is Coco?
I don't. Maybe he means Lobo. I don't know. Like it's getting late in the night, so yeah. That's Buster Barnes is like that's a fake rumor. Hi, Buster.
Coco was a small white alien monkey that lived aboard Brainiac's starship. So he was a little monkey.
I actually knew that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I think Hunter Jeff Snyder really rang your bell there.
Yeah, let me get him.
Yep. Stop it. Stop it.
That's
Stop
not
it,
gonna
Dan.
get old. That's not gonna get old at all. All right. Well,
I'm gonna delete this. Let's.
no, don't delete it.
Already.
Don't do it. You want to keep your access? I'm just okay. All right. Don't lose your admin privileges, John. Pick your battles, please.
Damn.
Yes, that's right. I will threaten to do that.
I don't think we will see Lino. Who's Lino?
Who? What is going on?
Lino?
The Watcher loves it. The Watcher needs to join.
Oh, Momoa. Wow, what a typo. I don't think we'll see or I think he meant Lobo. Yes.
Not Momoa. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
gotcha.
Well, guys, if there is more news from the world of DC, we'll be back here tomorrow talking about it. Creature Commandos. It airs in a few hours from now. We're gonna be watching it. John's gonna be up like way past midnight, and then we'll be back with a
Honestly,
review tomorrow.
at this point, I'd never get sleep anyway, so it's fine.
That's fair. That's fair. I will try to get a little bit of sleep tonight because I gotta drive all the way to New York City tomorrow to meet up with a friend who's in town for a few days. So and Liz is getting a mani-pedi, so we all got things going on. John's gonna be sleeping. And then he'll wake up just in time so we can do another episode of DCU Daily. But until then, guys, go out there and watch a movie, whether it's DC, Marvel, Star Wars. Maybe you're gonna watch the Phantom Menace, so you can prepare for our rodent man in House from the Bear, Jeremy Allen White, to be in that Mandalorian Grogu movie. Or you can just check out what's in movie theaters right now. Wicked, if you haven't seen it yet.
Wicked, Gladiator 2, Moana
2,
688. Remember when we were gonna review that, but
apparently
nobody fucking watched it?
Yeah, because we were like, it was gonna be on Netflix, but Netflix was like, oh, we're actually putting it in a movie theater for once, and we're like, because it's only in 2 movie theaters, and we don't live near any of them, so like,
yeah,
whatever.
they're both in New York, so it's like, fuck that.
It is what it is. Like, I will personally try to go watch Interstellar in IMAX before the week is out because I'm really interested in seeing, because I haven't seen that movie on a screen that big since it came out. I only saw it in IMAX once. So yeah, we've got lots of movie watching to do. And then Liz, you'll be back with us next week. We'll be back tomorrow reviewing
Lenny. Fiona's sleeping right now. She's
I think she might have fallen asleep. Yeah, she's busy.
Sorry, don't worry, she's not ignoring you. She's just
we'll go
getting
watch
her beauty
Interstellar
sleep
this Friday. Yes. We all gotta get our beauty sleep, otherwise we get.
And now Lenny's coming in that Nolan is overrated. Okay, well, good thing you weren't here for the Interstellar talk. Anyway,
Lenny, you are walking the line. Well,
no, that's James Mangold. That's not Christopher Nolan. Anyway,
that's fair. That's fair. And on that note, we're gonna bring the show to a close. We'll see you next time, another episode. Well, before I say that, thank you, Liz. Thank you, John, for joining us. And on behalf of the whole team, we'll see you guys tomorrow on DCU Daily.